How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
3 months, May 17th.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital.
That's difficult to answer.
voice inside my head of crying people facing death. Is this the end? Is this the end? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final fight. What have we done to the world? What have we done to the world? I'm burning in the stone. There's no place to hide. I'm burning in the stone. This is the final sweet dreams are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Everybody's looking for something. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to get used by you. Some of them want to use you. Some of them want to be out you.
Won't anybody help us? What are we running for? When there's nowhere we can run to anymore. We can't afford to be innocent. Stand up and face the enemy. It's a do or die situation. We will be invincible. And with the power of conviction, there is no sacrifice. It's a do or die situation. We will be invincible.
Who the fuck is Carlin? She's just some sweet lady. She's like in a knitting. She does like a knitting stream. She's like a knitting YouTuber. She does knitting.
Can we grow up a little bit and
Alt
not
Girl
be
sent $200.
retarded?
Have you
Please.
seen the work of Karlyn Borysenko? Anti-commie cult leader and is obsessed with looking at what actual far-left communists are talking about and organizing today, infiltrating them. They infiltrated the universities, schools, media. She has the receipts to back it up. Primary source evidence. Infestation is dire and she calls Republicans idiots eating slop. Agree.
Thank you for the big super chat. Yeah, oh, I know Carlin B. She's solid. She's funny. I
The
like
great
her.
noticer sent $200.
Literally.
So
not
it's,
Ian.
it's not because I haven't dangled my junk into the combat zone on purpose to get some camera footage, but that's the big part of what's the
Is
problem.
that what you call reporting?
Go
and live
under if
streaming?
you're going to do it.
Yeah,
go
seriously.
undercover. Otherwise, you're wearing a hunk of meat in a lion's den. Nick Shirley, I love you. Take care of yourself, man. Karlyn Borysenko went undercover. Do stuff like that. Like if you want to expose this thing, don't pariah.
But
Please.
Ian, here's and I agree with you to an extent.
I watch these streams, and I've been watching a self-professed fascist named Carlin, who drinks and basically roasts these live streams. But weirdly, she has apparently embedded herself with Antifa before, and so it's such a funny stream because
So they tolerate her?
oh no, not anymore. She no. She's like, I mean, I don't know if she's trolling or not, but on her stream, she's like, I am a fascist.
Right.
So she's proudly proclaiming she's a fascist. I don't know how much of that is trolling, how much of it is real, but conservatives who are drawn to her stream will say things like, these people are funded by George Soros. And it's the funniest thing because she gets so mad. And she's like, get off fucking Fox News. Stop watching that shit. It's all wrong. Do these people look funded? Do these people look like they have money? They're not funded. It's so, and I guess her bigger point is by saying these are funded agitators and not saying what they actually are, which is anti-capitalist revolutionaries, you dilute what's really happening. Because what's really happening, according to her, and I think a fair amount of people, is that the economy is so fucked. The middle class is diminishing so much. The cost of living is so high that this is the perfect soil you need if you wanted communism to grow anywhere.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everyone? Happy Tuesday. Hey, how's your Tuesday going? You know, I left my house today with like the best intentions of going to the gym. I couldn't do it. I had to go do a couple errands before I was supposed to go to the gym. I even had all my stuff in the car, and I was like walking around the supermarket getting my lunch, my very keto-friendly lunch of like stuffed mushrooms with like pico and guac, which was awesome. And I was just like, I don't want to do it. I just don't want to. I just don't want to. It is not the day for the gym. And you know what? I found over the years that if you have an instinct like that, it's better to just honor it and to just drive the fuck home and have your lunch and sit down and get another hour of work in. And that's just the way it goes. And then, you know, hopefully we'll feel better, or maybe I do have multiple people in my body, but maybe I'll feel better tomorrow. Maybe I'll feel more like it tomorrow. But I just didn't feel like going. With all the whining and complaining that is continuing on in my Twitter feed right now about the gym, and all, and some people think that women are fucking lazy at the gym, and some people think that I'm lying about women being lazy at the gym. I'm talking about the women who just go there to find a husband. Like, I posted about that on Twitter. I made this post yesterday that I didn't really think was going to be anything. I actually made the post while I was on the treadmill at the gym. I don't know if anyone saw this. I made a post basically saying kind of some of the things I've been talking about with you guys, which is like when men go to the gym, they lift weights and they work out. Because like, here's the thing. When I go to the gym, one of the things I do is I have like an hour to be on the treadmill. I try to get like at least 5K in on the treadmill just because I'm a runner. Like 5K is like a nice number for me. So I try to get at least 5K in, sometimes more, like that, you know, that sort of thing. I just do walking and stuff. I'm not doing anything crazy, but like an hour on the treadmill is a really long fucking time. And so you have a lot of time when you're on the treadmill, and most of the time I'm watching Whatnot on my phone. It's not like I'm just sitting there left to my own devices, but when you're just walking on the treadmill for an hour, you have a lot of time to kind of look around and observe what's happening in the gym. And the way my gym is set up, there's rows of treadmills in the back of the gym, and then literally everything else is in front of the treadmill. So the treadmills are like looking at the freeway, like there are several different free weight areas. Like there's basically a full like vantage view of the entire gym. So it's like, this is just people watching. It is what it is. And so one of the things that I've observed over the last, you know, kind of like several weeks that I've been going to the gym almost every single day is that when men go to the gym, they lift weights and they work out, and there's really like nothing eventful about it at all, honestly. when women go to the gym, and I'm not talking about older women like senior citizens. Like I see there's a lot of senior citizens around the time I go to the gym, and they're using the leg machines and they're doing all their senior citizen things. I'm not talking about older women. I'm talking about women that are like 20s to maybe like, well, actually into their 40s, definitely into their 40s. Here's what they do when they go to the gym. They hang out in the free weight area for a little while, and then they pick up the heavy weights and they move them around a little bit, but they don't actually do any sets with the weights. They're just moving the weights around. And then they move the weights around, and then they go and they pick up their phone and they start fucking around on their phone, and then they sit on top of the weights, and then they continue to fuck around on their phone. And sometimes a friend comes over and then they start gossiping. They're still not lifting weights at all. They're just taking up a spot in the free weight area. And so then they gossip with their friend, and then they move the weights around a little bit more, and then they take off like whatever, if they're wearing like a sweater or like, well, not sweater, but like, you know what I'm saying, like if they're wearing something, they take it off, and they're in like a sports bra and really tight leggings. And oftentimes those leggings are the type of leggings that like women know what I'm talking about, the ones that cinch your ass, that actually go into your ass. Those leggings are the stupidest fucking leggings in the world. I don't know why women buy them. They look awful. They look awful. But people know what I'm talking about. The types of leggings that really cinch into your ass. Basically, you have a wedgie the whole fucking time. So they're inevitably wearing like a sports bra and a pair of those leggings. And usually they have their hair just up softly like this. Like when I have my hair back in the gym, it's pulled tight back and like you cannot even move that thing. But when these women are just doing it softly up, and they're never sweating or anything like that. So they do a full lap around the gym with their sports bra and like their butt cinching leggings, and just to see if they get any attention. And then they go back to the free weight area again, and then they do a couple sets of squats because apparently the ass is the only thing that they're working out. And then they go to the locker room, and that's it. I have observed this pattern over and over and over and over and over again. And I haven't even been back in the gym that long. And I have to say, like, I feel like the gym didn't used to be like this. Like, again, like for people that don't know, when I was younger, I was spending like up to 4 hours a day in the gym. I would go to the gym in the morning and at night because I was running and I was doing marathon training and stuff like that. But like, I don't remember it ever being like this when I was in the gym in the before days. And apparently now this is all that women do. And by the way, I almost took a picture of this woman, but I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get in trouble. I literally saw a woman at my gym, and I am in New Hampshire. The reason I go to the gym I go to is it is literally 2 miles down the street from my house. I get in my car, I roll down a fucking hill, I am at the gym. Like it is literally just the closest gym to my house. That is why I go to the gym I go to. It is the most convenient. And this is in the middle of fucking New Hampshire. This is not a bustling fucking metropolis, okay? It's just not. But it is a bedroom community, and a lot of people commute to Boston and stuff like that. So there are people who live here. It's not like I'm not in a totally rural area. I'm more in like a suburb, right? So there was a woman at my gym yesterday. Guys, I swear to God, she had the sports bra and her tits were out to here. She had the butt cinching leggings that I was talking about. So like the leggings lifted her ass and gave her a giant wedgie. This woman had a Brazilian butt lift in her ass. So it made her ass so large. I have never seen a butt lift this big in person. It made her ass so fucking large that she had trouble walking around the gym. I truly have never seen an ass this disproportional to someone's body. And listen, I have a booty. I have a butt. I have birthing thighs and hips. I have that all there. I do not have a flat ass at all. I understand the pain of not being able to find a pair of pants that fits because they don't stretch around my fucking ass and all that. I understand. But like my ass is like normal size. It may be a little bit of a booty. Yeah, that's fine. But like my ass is normal size. What we are talking about was this woman's ass. Okay, we'll work on pictures of my ass another day, all right? This woman's ass was You could have set a cup on top of it as though you were. I almost took a picture of her. I was like, Carlin, I really don't want to lose my membership in this gym because like I said, it's so convenient to where I live. I'm like, you are not risking your membership in a gym to take a picture of this woman's ass, Carlin. It was like a circus sideshow. It really was. And I was like, it was slightly horrifying, if I'm honest. I don't know why anyone would do that to their ass. I don't understand the virtue. Again, like, I can't help that I was born with a booty, okay? I can't help that I have a butt. But like, I would never get surgery to have the ass I have. I would certainly never get surgery to have an ass that's 3 times larger than the ass that I have. I don't understand the virtue of this at all. The world has gone fucking insane. And so anyway, I didn't go to the gym today. But those are my observations from the gym this week. Hey, but guys, do you know what I did do today? Do you know what I did do today? Without even trying at all, actually. Without even trying, I brutally ratioed Matt Morse in his own replies. And we're going to get to that in just one moment as we wait for people to file in and get their YouTube notifications and all that stuff. Guys, please make sure you are mounting the like button on the way in the door. I would really, really appreciate it. Also, we've got a W for Gigalago in the chat for gifting a channel membership. Actually, 2 channel memberships, so 2 W's, and then we got another set of W's for Old Sub. 10 channel memberships. You guys gifted out 12 channel memberships before I even started the stream. How awesome is that? We will add that to our membership goal for the day. I really appreciate it. Old Sub Sailor just wants to remind you guys that the earlier you get in your channel memberships and you gift them out to people, the less I will talk about it during the stream, which is going to be nicer for everyone. Channel members do get access to Spy Stream. We do have a Spy Stream coming up on Thursday this week, which is when we'll go inside a live leftist organizing call and we will watch it live. So make sure you're gifting out channel memberships, inviting more people into our community. I am in with a channel membership. Thank you, I am. I appreciate it. Guys, as a reminder, I am 100% independently funded by people like you. Throwing in $5 to gift a channel membership out to someone in the community really does help out. It does help support the channel. It also helps support the community, which is awesome. I am. Thank you for being a member of the channel for 15 months. Got my big, beautiful stickers from Old Sub. Amazing. I did too, actually. I did too. I haven't opened them up yet because Old Sub taped this box like my mother tapes a Christmas present. But I got my stickers as well, and I appreciate that, Old Sub. You rock. I mean, they're so fucking cool. They're so cool. Really appreciate you doing that, bro. What a gift you gave everyone with that little design. All right. Back to this. So, without even trying earlier today, I brutally ratioed Matt Morse in his own replies. And I'm going to show you how I did that. Because you might say, Carlin, this doesn't look like a ratio. He has 16,000 likes and you only have 1.4. Okay, hang on a second. Fair enough. But wait. It gets better. Matt Morse says, if you think President Trump is about to kill 90 million Iranians, you are probably mentally retarded. That is all. Now, just in case people don't know what we're talking about, I don't know how you can not know because, the world is about to end and, basically Trump's about to start a nuclear war and we're probably going to find out about that at 8 p.m. tonight. If we're still streaming, we'll listen to whatever fucking announcement Trump has about the fact that he's threatening to genocide an entire civilization. So earlier today, Trump posted on Truth Social, a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again. I don't want that to happen, but it probably will. However, now that we have complete and total regime change, where different, smarter, and less radical minds prevail, maybe something revolutionary can happen. Who knows? We will find out tonight one of the most important moments in a long and complex history of the world. 47 years of extortion, corruption, and death will finally end. God bless the people of Iran. Well, guys, I don't know if you know this, but when the President of the United States makes an internet post that says a whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back again, some might say that Trump seems to be planning to genocide an entire species of people, tribe of people, ethnicity of people. I don't fucking know. Trump seems to be threatening to kill an awful lot of people because Iran is not doing the things that he wanted them to do. And he is also pissed off that the Iranian people have not risen up in glorious revolution to overthrow their government, because Trump was told by his advisors that if he just bombed the shit out of Iran and killed their leader, that the Iranian people would surely rise up and the Iranian people would have a regime change revolution in their country. Well, guess what, guys? Trump's advisors were wrong. The Iranian people have not risen up. In fact, I'm actually just slightly terrified at what might happen tonight, if I'm being honest about it, because, well, there are a lot of Iranians in the streets right now and surrounding the power plants in Iran that they think Trump's going to try to bomb. There are so many Iranians out in the street waving Iranian flags and basically trying to send the message that if you bomb their infrastructure, if you bomb their power plants, if you bomb their bridges, if you bomb the things that they're gathering these people around, then this isn't going to go well. And people are saying, they're like, Iran is using them all as human shields. Guys, if this was a group of MAGA people that were waving American flags in support of their glorious leader, Trump, would you think Trump is using these people as human shields? Because I don't know, man. I don't know. Trump was so sure there was going to be a glorious revolution of the Iranian people, but it turns out that not everyone in Iran actually wanted this. I know this is shocking. Not everyone in Iran wanted America to bomb the shit out of them. Not everyone in Iran wanted America to blow up one of their fucking schools. Not everyone in Iran supports the overthrow of the regime that the Trump administration thought was going to result in a people's revolution to install the crown prince or whatever the fuck. You're telling me that not every Iranian was happy with Trump's decision? Because I was told by conservative propaganda outlets that every single Iranian just welcomed this. Well, it kind of seems to me like they're out in the streets, standing around these facilities, waving Iranian flags, and not so much on the side of Trump and America. And I think this could actually get really, really bad very, very quickly. I think I saw, who did I see say this? Hang on. I think it was Cassandra. Cassandra saw me win something live on Whatnot last night, by the way, and she DM'd me. It was so funny. Cassandra McDonald DM'd me last night, and she's like, we were both watching Blazendary, which is a show that she and I both like, and okay, get ready. Don't tell my husband I accidentally purchased an MCM belt bag from Blazendary last night that I really didn't mean to win. It was a total fucking accident that I won. The bid went way low. I was just fucking around, and it's kind of one of those things. It was another one of those moments where I was like, if the bid goes this low, I'm actually okay with this. I'm okay with the purchase. But I actually didn't mean to win it. It was a total fucking accident. But I got it at a stupid low price. And so I'm actually really happy about that. And it's a brand new MCM belt bag and it's awesome. And I'm going to give it to Victor because I think he'll use it when he goes hiking and stuff like that. Victor doesn't know this yet. Don't tell him. Anyway, Cassandra was watching the same show when I won it. And she DM'd me. She's like, I just saw you win on Blazendary. Congratulations. And then I saw her bidding as well. And she was just fucking around too. She wasn't really going for anything. And so now I know Cassandra's secret whatnot name, but I'm not telling anyone. She doesn't use her like, you might be able to figure it out if like you're looking for her, but like she doesn't use her picture or anything like that. Like it's really like very incognito. I was like, Cassandra, I know your whatnot name now. But that's okay. I'm not going to tell anyone. She wants to be incognito on whatnot. I totally understand it. Anyway, this is another video of the Iranians surrounding one of the power plants. And Cassandra retweeted this. And in this one, apparently, Trump is very upset at the Iranian people for voluntarily surrounding their own power plants in a show of defiance. And Trump says the Iranian people are not allowed to do this, and he wants them to stop. So Trump thinks it's totally unfair and totally not allowed for the Iranian people to voice their opinions on all this nonsense and to have some sort of like, I don't know, show of, dare I say, solidarity in the face of Trump threatening to bomb the ever-loving fuck out of their country and wipe out their entire civilization. And so it's like, oh, not that one. We'll go back to that one second. So it's like when people like Matt Morse and all of these other fucking shills, all of these fucking shills today are like, you can't possibly think that Trump actually meant that, do you? Let me see if I go, that's not what I want to do. Let me see if I can go back and find this. So Trump again tweets or posts out on Truth Social, a whole civilization will die tonight. I think that's pretty fucking clear. A whole civilization will die tonight, never to be brought back. And then the Iranian people are really, really pissed off about this, and they start going out and waving Iranian flags and making a show of defiance. But all the conservative shills and the Zionist shills are out there going, you couldn't possibly have taken Trump seriously. And I'm like, bro, he's the fucking president of the United States, making a very clear public statement that he is going to wipe out an entire civilization. Perhaps Trump should be behaving a little bit more responsibly. Listen, I don't think I'm asking too much. I don't think that the bar is set very high. Can we just have, when we are provoking a war in the Middle East that we don't need to be in, except Israel wants us to be in it, and that's the only reason why we're in it, and sending Americans to die on behalf of Israel, and sending billions and billions and billions and billions of dollars to this war with Iran on behalf of Israel that we're all paying for, to raise gas prices for everyone, to raise every fucking price for everyone, because with that is the check that Trump has chosen to write. He doesn't necessarily have to pay it, but the rest of us fucking do. Can I just ask for like a modicum of just like, perhaps we should rein in the bullshit a little bit. Perhaps when we are provoking a war in the Middle East, saying you're going to wipe out an entire civilization may not be the most prudent of language. And I feel like I was pretty even-keeled about it. I feel like I was pretty even-keeled about my initial response to Matt Morse. I don't think I'm asking too much. Matt Morse says, if you think President Trump is about to kill 90 million Iranians, you're mentally retarded, that is all. And I said, well, then he probably shouldn't have posted that he's going to wipe out an entire civilization. I don't think I am asking too much. Old sub, thanks for the super chat. I will bet my next paycheck he won't do shit. That's his modus operandi. All talk, just saying. No way he does anything. Well, that's kind of like not the point. Like the point is now if he doesn't do something, he's gonna look like a total fucking pussy. And he's brought the situation on himself. Hey Nick, thanks for the super chat. Trump is mad that weapons he sent to the Iranian people was kept by a group that was supposed to distribute them. Still haven't learned from the past 50 years. Yeah, Trump never learns anything. But this didn't stop there. Matt Morse then says, why do you think he followed up by saying, God bless the Iranian people? Is it possible that you are deliberately misconstruing the meaning behind his message? And he got 281 likes to that. I responded to Matt Morse in, listen, I felt like I was reasonable with the first post. Probably not going to be so reasonable with the second post. When Matt Morse is overtly accusing me of intellectual dishonesty, when I was actually perfectly fucking reasonable with the first post, I'm probably not going to be so considerate the second time around. And so I responded to Matt Morse and I said, lol, you shills will literally make any excuse for bad behavior for the privilege of getting on your knees and sucking off Israel. Matt Morse has 281 likes. My response has 835 likes. And then Matt Morse says, I don't care about Israel. Try again. 43 likes. And then I said, and yet here you are, shilling for them. 438 likes. Literally 10 times the amount of likes his got. And then Matt Morse, the genius intellectual argumenter that he is, depressingly one-dimensional worldview. 63 likes. I said, at least I'm not desperate to shill for a foreign power while my dear leader threatens to genocide civilians. It can't be fun being a complete sellout, Matt, but that's a you problem, not a me problem. 305 likes. And then apparently Matt Morse has, this was just like the icing on top. This was like the best part of the whole thing. Matt Morse doesn't know the difference between Japan and China. Matt Morse says, good, I don't know what that word is. Something, whatever the fuck that word is. 7,000 yen, because that's the sign for Japanese yen, has been deposited into your account, Chinese flag. Matt Morse apparently thinks that I just got paid 7,000 Japanese yen from China. Oh, that translates to white devil? Are you serious? Matt Morse is calling me a white devil? Wow. Yeah, racist math. Yep, racist math. Also, Matt, just so you know, 7,000 yen is only like $8. So apparently I'm a really fucking cheap date. And I said, LOL, cool, I'll use it to buy more luxury goods. So whether my money is coming from Japan or China or who the fuck knows, I'll just use it to buy more high-end knockoff bags from China or more resale bags on Whatnot, and that's totally fine with me. So I brutally ratioed Matt Morse on his own post, and that was pretty satisfying for me, I have to say. One more update though. Apparently, I have dissident right-wingers trying to get me killed. Just FYI. If I ever get the shit kicked out of me when I'm undercover in an event, maybe it's the left's fault. Maybe it's a retard from the right who is stalking me to try to out me at a leftist event in order to get the left to kick the shit out of me and maybe even kill me. Just so you guys know. I got this comment on my YouTube channel today, and it was to our Socialism Saturday from this past week. This is the type of bullshit that I have to deal with on a daily basis, just so you guys know. From someone named Van Zen Harbinger MK 73 429. Someone want to teach this failed communist what debunking means. Not very smart to teach National Socialists how to infiltrate the left, then make enemies with those same people. If I were you, Piggy, I would never show up at a left-wing protest again, because now, by your own actions, you have enemies on both sides who will not hesitate to out you to a crowd that will assuredly put you in the hospital. I, and others like me, will be looking for you specifically at these protests. You never stop being a leftist pig. You just didn't feel special, so you went turncoat. You know it, the left knows it, and now we do too. It's only a matter of time before Adam Green and big tech realize it. In short, this is your face the wall notice. I mean, what this retard doesn't understand is I've undergone way more harassment from the right over the past 5 years than I've ever undergone from the left, if I'm being perfectly honest about it. So does this retard actually think that he's the first person on the right to ever issue like a literal death threat against me or threaten to stalk me and follow me to an event in order to out me to the leftists so they kick the shit out of me? Does this retard think this is the first time this ever happened? I mean, I guess best of luck, asshole. I guess best of luck with that little plan. You know, the thing of it is, you know, I have some experience with going undercover at the left. I have a little bit of experience with this. And do you guys remember the time that I went undercover with the left, where I literally went to an event? I don't know why this isn't loading. Why isn't my picture loading? I literally went to an event where they had me on a wall as soon as you walked into the building. I'm fairly certain I remember this. You don't need to see that. I'm fairly certain I remember that time where I was literally on a hit list wall that I took a selfie with of enemies of Antifa, and I just waltzed right into that event in my disguise, and no one fucking recognized me because I know how to do this shit. And just in case you can't see it, there's the full wall of enemies. This was at the Seattle Anarchist Book Fair last October, where I surprised them by actually showing up to their event and collecting all their propaganda before promptly running away. And then we went to eat a cheeseburger, and that was pretty great. And then I got 2 full boxes of propaganda. So I'm just saying, like you dissident right-wing fucking pussies, you can threaten to try to follow me to these events all you want. You can try to find me at these events. I don't think you're going to be very successful. I literally change my fucking disguise every single time I go. Sometimes I even post pictures of myself not wearing the thing I actually wore to the event, just so you guys are looking for one thing, but oh wait, I'm actually wearing a completely different thing. That selfie at the event, though, that was real. That was my actual disguise. That disguise has been retired. You'll never see that disguise again at an event, because I had to take the selfie with the wall of of Antifa enemies or whatever. But there's been more than one occasion where the photo that I posted publicly was not even what I wore to the actual event. So too bad, so sad. You guys are gonna have to try harder. There's no fucking way you're ever gonna find me at these events. And if you ever do you know what I'll do? I'll film you. I'll get your face on fucking camera. I will dox you to the entire fucking world when I release video of you outing me to a group of leftists trying to get them to beat me up. So you give it your best shot, and I will make you famous on the fucking internet for the rest of your fucking life. And you know, there are all sorts of crazy things that happen when you get doxxed on the internet, when you're a coward that sits behind an anonymous account. What Big Tech and Adam Green have to do with any of this shit, I really don't know. But I always get a little, worried or perplexed when one and or both of them are mentioned. Adam Green and I are on perfectly fine terms, so I don't know what the fuck is going on there. Would I be surprised if someone in big tech's audience was trying to get the left to beat the shit out of me? No, if I'm being honest about it. And I think we all know why. And if you don't know why, don't worry about it. It doesn't fucking matter. Let's see. Thank you, old sub, for the super chat. I do appreciate it. Dr. K, not to distract, but I just posted the initial draft of a latest rev to the stickers. Check it out. I will. Where did you post that? In the tell me where you posted, in the Discord, in the Substack. I don't have all the screens open at any given moment, old sub, but I promise I'll take a look. Thank you for for the super sticker. Really do appreciate it. All right. On to more important things. Guys, before we get into our Antifa segment for today, because we are going to be reading the Antifa report back from the No Kings protest. Now, I've said this a million times, but just in case people don't know, No Kings was a progressive protest. It was not a far left protest. However, we knew for months and months and months leading up to the event that Antifa was going to go. Why did we know Antifa was going to go? Well, they've been at the other two, number one, so we can assume that they're going to repeat the same behavior. But also, about a month leading up to the No Kings protest, Antifa started releasing things for people to bring to the No Kings protest and hand them out, like explicitly handbills for No Kings on ICE, anarchism, and the Prairie Land case. So Antifa actually was handing out these specific flyers at the No Kings protest. They created them specifically for the No Kings protest. We should actually probably read these and see what they say. But they actually had material that they distributed through their publishing arm, CrimeThink. Anytime you guys see CrimeThink is how Antifa communicates with all the different Antifa cells all over the country. As a reminder, Antifa is a highly decentralized, non-hierarchical organization. No, there is no funding. They're funded by mutual aid. There is no RICO case because obviously there was never going to be a RICO case. There's no funding. They're funded by mutual aid, which means they fund themselves. They are highly decentralized. They're non-hierarchical. There are thousands of cells all over the country. How do you communicate across a vast network of non-hierarchical decentralized cells? Well, what you have to do is you have to have a way to disseminate information across websites and social media and different signal groups and stuff like that all the cells are connected to. CrimeThink is one of the oldest publishing anarchist publishing websites on the internet. CrimeThink is where people go to find out what are other anarchists all over the country doing. And there are anonymous posts that are curated by a team that runs it, where people basically send stuff in. They send in reports about what they did at events, and they publish those reports. And the things that they publish on this website, and this is just one website where they do it, but it's a very popular one and a very kind of ubiquitous one. When they publish something on this website, all the different decentralized cells from all over the country interact with and read this information, and they take the information in and they use it to do better activism, direct action, all that stuff in their area. Basically, it's like an after action report where they go and do something. They go and do a protest. They go and do a direct action. They go break the sign at Joe Rogan's comedy club. They go set fire to something. They try to burn down a police station. Whatever the fuck they're doing. If they're doing something to try to cause damage and destruction, they then write a report about it to say, here's what we did. Here's how it went. Here are the things that went wrong. Here are the things that went right. Here are the things we can do differently next time. They literally do after action reporting. And then they communicate that to everyone else so that if they're going to do a similar type of direct action, they can take in this information and learn to get better. It's actually a pretty advanced kind of system. It's simple, but it's also hard to pull off, honestly. W's in the chat, channel logo. Thank you for the channel membership. Really appreciate it, bro. So today what we're going to do is we're going to read the Antifa report backs from the No Kings protest to see it from their perspective. If we have time, we'll also go and read the actual things that they handed out. Again, this is on CrimeThink's website, and you can access this information, and I hope you do. However, before we get to that, I have just posted a video update, and I posted this on Twitter, Substack, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all the different things. I need your guys' help in getting more views on this on Twitter. Okay. So when I post stuff on Twitter, this is a really important update, guys. This is an update. This is basically I updated people yesterday on the intelligence that we gathered, on the work that we're doing to analyze all the information that came in from the massive volunteer effort we did for the No Kings protest. So basically what's happened is, I'll just give you a too long didn't read. I talked about this more extensively yesterday. I'm going to make a clip of this and put it out. But we had volunteers on the ground in over 30 states, in like over 50 different cities. And we have intelligence coming in from all over the country about here were the groups at the No Kings protest. We're getting that information together. We're making sense of it. And what we're going to do is we're going to utilize this information to build out a map of the modern activist left in America. So I posted a video today just giving people an update because it's been about a week. I wanted people to know what was going on. When you're doing real world data analysis, it oftentimes takes more time than just if you're doing clickbait content. So my priority is always that we're doing the data analysis correctly, because this is not about the No Kings protest. This is about a much bigger project to map the modern activist left in America. So we have to ensure things are accurate and we have to ensure things are done well in like before we put this information out. Also, we're collecting information from dozens and dozens of different people. So there's just a lot of moving parts for this right now, but I did want to put out an update so that people knew what was going on. I could really, really, really use your guys' help in sharing this, though, because Twitter on my leftist content posts doesn't like me all that much. So I wonder, can we make this video go viral, please? Can you guys help me out? I will put this in the chat over on Rumble. If you're on X, please log into it, and I will pin this on YouTube. I'll pin this on Rumble. And what I need you guys to do is I need you to bookmark the tweet. I need you to like the tweet or heart the tweet. I need you to reply to the tweet, say whatever you like. I'm not going to reply to my own tweet, but that's, you could say like literally whatever you want. I need you to quote tweet the tweet, which is write something. This is awesome, whatever. You can tag influencers that you want to see it or whatever. And then I just need you to do a general retweet of the tweet. If you do those 5 things, it will help substantially in terms of getting eyes on this content. And again, basically the update is this, is so far, we have about 400 different groups that we have identified at leftist event, at No Kings protests. They are all over the leftist spectrum. And about 18% of the groups that we have identified are far left radical revolutionary socialists. What that means is the bulk of the activist groups at the No Kings protests were progressive groups. We know that. That's not a surprise. About 60% of the groups at the No Kings protests that we, in our data set that we collected, were progressive groups. 18% of that of the data that we collected were far left revolutionary groups. So that's a pretty big number considering that this is a progressive protest. So you got to keep in mind, even if a protest is run by a progressive organization that's like, you know, funded by Soros or like whatever they want to say, it doesn't really matter. The far left is going to take advantage of these events to try to pull more people to the far left. There was also about 8% of them there that were part of like the DSA, the Working Families Party, more reformist socialist organizations and stuff like that. So if you guys could help me share this out, I really do think this is important data. And this is data that we are going to be building on May 1st when we do the same thing for the May Day protest that's coming up on May 1st. I want to have people on the ground in 50 states all over the country to collect data about what groups are going to be at the protest, okay? We only do this in the real world. We only do this by going and actually collecting their propaganda and looking around and saying, Party for Socialism and Liberation, Socialist Alternative, Revolutionary Communists of America, American Federation of Teachers. Like, we only do this on the ground. And the reason we do this is we want to know what groups specifically are active in the real world. I don't care so much about the groups that are just shit posting on Reddit. I don't care about fucking YouTubers that are obsessed with Hassan Piker or Vosh. These people make no difference to me. What I care about is real communists and socialists organizing in the real world, handing out flyers, handing out propaganda, having real world meetings, doing real world activism, people that are actively growing and expanding right now that are going to cause problems for the next several months leading up to the midterm. So again, if you guys could help me share this, get in front of more people, tag influencers you want to see it, that would be really awesome. And again, I'm going to be starting to recruit people to come and do the May 1st volunteer effort with us probably next week. So we're going to start recruiting for that next week. I want to wrap up the data analysis for this. I'm working on a real pretty map and all sorts of like a web page that like all this stuff can be displayed on. So we're working on getting this information all into one place for you guys. And so more to come, hopefully next week, and then we will start the recruiting effort. And hopefully within a couple of weeks, we can get people on the ground in all 50 states, all over the country. Do you guys think we can do that? One in the chat, if you think that we can create a massive all-volunteer effort to collect on-the-ground data about the May 1st May Day protest and general strike in every single state, all 50 states. 2 in the chat if you think I'm being crazy and we can't do that. 1 in the chat if you think we can get at least 1 volunteer on the ground in every single state in this country to go collect data for us. 2 in the chat if I'm being crazy. I think we can do it. I quite frankly was shocked at how many people did the No Kings protest. I think that the May Day protest is going to be much more interesting for a lot of people. And I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think it's going to be awesome. All right. So thank you guys. I appreciate your help with that. More to come on that very, very soon. Who's ready to get into Antifa content for the day? Let me get my sound set up. Guys, we are trying to meet a YouTube channel member goal of 100 new channel members today. If you appreciate the work I do, if I've taught you something, if I've made you laugh, if I've made you cry, if I've made you think, any of those things, please feel free to donate some channel memberships. Donating channel memberships not only helps me, it also helps out the community, gets more people access to our spy stream infiltrations, gets more people into supporter Discord for movie night and stuff like that. But the spy stream ones are really the best part of it, I think. So throw on some channel memberships. If you have questions or anything, feel free to send me a super chat. I will try to answer as many questions as I can, even if you don't send it in the form of a super chat. But if you want to say thank you for me taking some time out of my day to teach you stuff that you didn't know before, that would be rad. Consider it class dues, guys. And I will keep bugging you periodically for channel memberships until we've met the goal. I might even quit the stream early if we don't do it. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. But we are going to settle in, start reading this content, start analyzing it. Is this let me ask you guys this. 1 in the chat if you have read Antifa content with me before, 2 in the chat if this is your first time. 1 in the chat if you have read Antifa content with me before, 2 in the chat if this is your first time. Ooh, Channel Lago's first time. Oh, shit. We're going to pop your cherry, bro. That's good. Lots of 1s, couple of 2s. All right. For the people who this is your first time seeing Antifa content, just know that Antifa has a certain way they write. They have a certain cadence with which they write. As a reminder, they are using a different language than us. They are not speaking English. They are speaking the language of socialists. It is not the same language. It might sound like they're using the same words that you would use, but they have totally different definitions for those words. If you are confused about anything that they're saying, please ask the question. There's nothing wrong with asking questions. If this is your first time reading it, it might seem very flowery to you. I'm very used to reading this content now, so it doesn't faze me at all. But I can understand that if you're new, some of this might be a little more difficult to understand. And so if you're having a hard time understanding it, please let us know in the chat, and we will try to answer as many questions as possible. And yeah, let's get this party started. I'm gonna get in here. I'm gonna set up my handy dandy e-reader so I don't have to read this. And oh look, the No Kings symbol is upside down. Oh, that's good.
Anarchists at the 2026 No Kings rallies. Reports from around the country. Ahead of the 3rd No Kings Worldwide Day of Protest on March 28th, we published a call for anarchists to engage with the rallies as an opportunity to draw people into more concrete forms of organizing and action and offer handouts for that purpose. Here, we share highlights and reports from some of the participants in the day's events. Organizers claim that a total of 8 million participants in the protests, up roughly 1 million from the October 18th No Kings rallies, which we had also published a call to engage with. Donald Trump's popularity has reached an all-time low as he continues to an unpopular war with Iran after his attempt to use immigration and customs enforcement to terrorize cities like Minneapolis was thwarted by grassroots resistance. Yet concrete mass resistance has yet to take shape in most of the country. This makes anarchist efforts to demonstrate a way forward.
I just want to make sure everyone understands their mindset here, okay? And just as a reminder to the new people, it does not matter if you agree with them or disagree with them. It does not matter if you disagree with their interpretation of events. The point of reading Antifa propaganda is that we are trying to understand their perspective so that we can predict how they are going to behave next. Okay? Reagan says, shout out to Red Menace Guru for watching the How to Speak Socialist crash courses last night and learning a lot. That's awesome. He was angry, but he did his homework. I appreciate that, Red Menace Guru. Well done. So when we're looking at this, let's think about the perspective that Antifa has about, events lately. Organizers claim a total of 8 million participants in the protests, up roughly 1 million from October 18th, which we also had a call to engage with, blah, blah, blah. Donald Trump's popularity has reached an all-time low. And as he continues an unpopular war with Iran, after his attempt to use immigration and customs enforcement, ICE, to terrorize cities like Minneapolis, was thwarted by grassroots resistance. I cannot emphasize this enough for people who are new. Regardless of how much you like Trump, the left believes that they massively defeated Trump in Minneapolis, in Chicago, in Portland, in Los Angeles. The left really and truly believes that they chased the Trump administration out of Minneapolis. I happen to also agree with them, by the way. I think the anti-ICE organizing has been massively successful. I think the left has, I quite frankly think the left is shocked at how successful this has been, because you got to understand, if you haven't been watching leftist content with us for years, you might not understand the left very rarely thinks they are winning. The left never talks about winning. They always say, we're losing, we're losing, we're losing, we're losing. And that's why they're always doing more activism, because they always convince themselves that they're losing. This is like the first time that I can remember that I have been studying the left, and I've been doing this for like 5 years now. This is the first time I can remember where I have ever seen them say, we're winning, we're winning, we're winning. Now, this is what we call a conservative retard interpretation. Victims don't say, we're winning and we successfully defeated the government. That's not something victims say. We don't allow retards here. Hinge into fucking reality. Grow the fuck up. W's Virgo Moon for being a member of the channel for 2 months. Really appreciate that, Virgo Moon. You rock. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, what exactly does that have to do with what we're talking about? How is this relevant to what we're talking about at all? Are you paying attention to what we're talking about? Are you actually listening, or are you just here to pontificate and make shit up in the chat? Perhaps less talking, more listening. That might be helpful. Less talking, more listening. So because the left believes that they're winning, because the left believes that they have all the momentum in their favor, what that means is they're going to double down and continue to do more and more and more and more and more of what they're already doing, because they're like, yo, this shit is working. We got to do more than this. I never said they had a victim mentality. Those words didn't come out of my mouth. So again, less talking, more listening. We don't make shit up here.
This makes anarchist efforts to demonstrate a way forward especially important. In Phoenix, in response to a local call for an anarchist contingent and no kings expressing opposition to borders, IC, and repression. Anarchists displaying banners reading "Solidarity with the Prairie Land 9," and first they came for the anti-fascists, marched at
The Prairie Land 9 are the Antifa members who got convicted for shooting up an ICE facility.
Anarchists displaying banners reading "Solidarity with the Prairie Land 9," and first they came for the anti-fascists, marched at the very front of the crowd. Phoenix, Arizona. Anarchists carry banners at the front of a march during the March 28, 2026 No Kings demonstration.
Yo, are you serious? Antifa was at the front of the No Kings protest in Phoenix? I need to go back and check, but I really hope the volunteer we had in Phoenix didn't miss this. And if the volunteer you have pics of that, awesome. I was wondering, I was like, if this volunteer missed that, you know, it's everyone's first time. We're going to be easy on it, but I'm like, I really fucking hope that they did it. Fuck yes. Fuck yes. Suzanne, don't worry about it. You're recovering from cancer. You have an excuse. Wow. Okay. So Antifa is literally at the head of the march. Oh, hang on a second. Let me just get their Vimeo link. Guys, just so you know, anytime you have an opportunity to find an like a leftist Vimeo link, Vimeo is like the black hole of leftist content. There's a lot of stuff on Vimeo that like we have a hard time accessing, and so anytime you find a leftist group's Vimeo link, you copy that shit.
Many of the flashpoints of March 28 took place at locations that have already become battlegrounds under the Trump administration. In downtown Los Angeles, protesters hurled chunks of concrete at Department of Homeland Security mercenaries outside the same federal detention center that was at the center of the clashes that touched off the uprising against IC in June 2025. At the IC facility in Broadview near Chicago, Illinois, police arrested and brutalized several protesters. In Denver, protesters took over Highway I-25, forcing police to respond with tear gas. In addition to the reports below, you can consult this report back from anarchists in Central Oregon, Dallas-Fort Worth.
Hang on, we'll pull up that report. I don't know why the report back from Central Oregon is on a different website, but okay. Oh, wow. Look at this. A No Blogs website. A No Blogs website. Antifa's linking to a No Blogs website. 1 in the chat if you know what No Blogs is. 2 in the chat if No Blogs is a new thing for you. 1 in the chat if you know what No Blogs is. 2 in the chat if No Blogs is a brand new thing and you don't know what it is. I'll put the link in the chat so you guys can see this. So, you guys know how CrimeThink is like the Antifa publishing arm that we always refer back to? I said CrimeThink, which is where we're reading this content now. CrimeThink is but one Antifa website. There are many, 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 many anarchist websites on the internet. CrimeThink just happens to be one of the most popular and one of the most pervasive. You also have things like the Anarchist Library. You have things like Anarchist News. But there are tons of anarchist websites on the internet. No Blogs is a web hosting platform specifically for Antifa. And so if you ever find a website that's like something like xyBZ.noblogs.org, that is an Antifa website. They have this is where Antifa cells all over the country are publishing what they're doing, what they're thinking about, their manifestos. This is the ecosystem where they are publishing this directly. And so No Blogs is another one of those like excellent resources that we have to be able to ascertain what are these groups saying directly, and oftentimes things that are published in No Blogs end up being linked on CrimeThink, as you saw here, or they end up in the anarchist library, or they end up in other places too. This is a really vast ecosystem that I think is difficult to monitor in real time. But it's like anytime you see something like this is, I'll put the link to this directly in the chat. This is a No Blogs website. This is Central Oregon Antifascist.noblogs.org/etc., etc., etc. So anytime you see a No Blogs website, just know this is probably most likely an Antifa group or a very far left person publishing about what they're doing, trying to communicate with other Antifa groups. So we'll just put that one aside for right now, but we're going to come back to that. And again, this was linked directly from CrimeThink, so that's how we just found that. Here's a protest around freeing the Antifa people who shot up that ICE facility.
Dallas-Fort Worth, Texas. Supporters of the Prairieland defendants attended 3 No Kings events in DFW this past weekend.
Yes,
we
they also
passed out
used
hundreds of
RiseUp.net.
flyers
Good
and had
point.
lots of conversations about the case with both random attendees and activists. It was a great opportunity to see how far awareness of the case has spread, and it does seem to spread. In Fort Worth, members of the DFW Support Committee had an official table and a speaking slot. We marched together, including 2 random young people who felt inspired to join our crew with the defendant signs and a large banners that read, "Free the Prairieland Defendants." Modesto, California. In Modesto.
It's important, guys. It's important that people understand part of the reason that we do this, especially with the report backs coming from the protests. I want you guys to understand what Antifa looks like when you see them in real life. Okay? I want you to know if you're like in your city and you're walking by like a park or something and you're seeing some sort of rally or something, I want you to be able to go and identify Antifa, progressive group, Antifa, progressive group. I want you to know what this looks like in the real world. Because oftentimes when you encounter Antifa in the real world, they are not dressed in black bloc. They are not wearing all black with masks and stuff like that. During the day, they tend to wear normal clothes. They change into the black bloc at night if they're going to go do a direct action or something like that. But like, you would not be able to identify, for the most part, with rare exception, you would not be able to identify Antifa by looking like they're in black bloc. They look just like a normal person. Most of them are probably going to be younger, but some of them are not going to be younger. They're not all going to have fucking pink hair. They're not all going to have... The conservatives seem to think that every leftist has piercings all over their face. Like, they don't. Like, they really don't. A lot of them have normal jobs. They are lawyers. They are doctors. They are nurses. They are school teachers. They are your Starbucks barista. They work at the Amazon warehouse. They have normal fucking jobs. Like Chandler, the leader of Antifa, according to the Trump administration, though not really, is a carpenter. You know? So I want people to actually see what this looks like and to know that, like, when you see things like this, when you see something like they're trying to convince people that Antifa is a domestic terrorist organization, anytime you see someone talking about the Prairieland case, this is actually really important. Anytime you guys see someone talking about the Prairieland defendants, that is Antifa. Antifa right now is the only group that I see doing this on the left. It is the furthest left that is defending the Antifa activists that shot up the ICE facility. I don't see progressives doing this. I don't even see DSA types doing this. The only people defending the Prairieland 9 is Antifa. And so if you see something that they're talking about this Prairieland stuff and they're talking about how the government is trying to like weaponize like free like take away free speech for zines or whatever, that is Antifa, and you might not know it just by looking at it. And look at this. It's like we can even see in the picture here. No one's dressed up in black bloc. This guy has a mask, I guess. But like these are people in like normal clothes, guys. Thank you, Virgo Moon, for the membership. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let me add that to the tally. There you go. There you go. No, the monarch is not the symbol that Antifa uses. Now, the monarch has become a symbol of like immigrant rights and anti-ICE activism. There are a lot of immigrant rights organizations that are using this monarch symbol. Monarcha is an actual name of an organization in Minneapolis. It's called Monarcha. It has a butterfly as a symbol. Monarcha is like the main immigrant rights organizing group in Minneapolis, but it is not accurate to say that the butterfly represents Antifa. Antifa and immigrant rights groups are two different things, but occasionally, like you're seeing here, when they're talking about these things, they might use the symbolism that is coming up today. And this is just part of like the overall leftist ecosystem. The monarch came because of like the immigrant rights groups, and specifically again Monarcha being kind of like the symbol of like the immigrant struggle in Minneapolis specifically, which is what they're going after right now. But that doesn't mean like Antifa uses the monarch on like everything. They don't actually. I've seen anti-ICE posters on buildings with a butterfly. Yeah. So don't assume that just because you see a butterfly, that's Antifa. However, if you do see a butterfly, that's anti-ICE. Obviously, Antifa is anti-ICE. The Prairie Land case is about Antifa shooting up an ICE facility. So the monarch is, it's a good question. I appreciate you asking it. The butterfly is anti-ICE, not necessarily Antifa.
In Modesto, anarchists set up a free zine table with Crimethink, stickers and color posters at the recent No Kings rally. The rally brought out hundreds of participants. We handed out free zines about the anti-IC struggle and rapid response networks, along with information about protest safety and more.
Hey, we got a super chat from Tiffany over on Rumble. Just a donation to the goal since I've been busy with life lately. Thanks for your efforts. Thank you, Tiffany on Rumble. I do appreciate it. So guys, so now they're saying here in Modesto, California, and I don't really know where in California Modesto is. Maybe some like where the fuck is Modesto in California? What city is that near? I don't have all of California memorized. I only have certain cities memorized. So where is Modesto? Is it northern, central, southern? What the fuck is Modesto near? Sacramento. Okay, northern. Okay, fair enough. So basically in the area where I was around last year. Okay, so what they're saying is in Modesto, California, basically what Antifa did is CrimeThink, again, the publishing arm of Antifa, went and set up a table at the No Kings protest to hand out zines. This is one of the most common ways in which you will run into Antifa in the real world. They will just set up these tables with all of these printed copies of their zines. If you want to see what their zines look like, CrimeThink literally has an archive of zines on their website. This is an archive of their stickers. Hang on. Library tools. So if you go onto CrimeThink's website, you can literally see they make all of their zines publicly available, and they make them all in printed format because what they want people to do is just print off the CrimeThink zine like on their home computer. All of this stuff is done on their home computer and their home printer, or they do it at work, or they can do it at a fucking Kinko's or Staples or like whatever. But all of this stuff is already created in simple PDFs where then Antifa activists all over the country can print them out, and they set up these huge tables that just have dozens of these zines. If you ever come across a table like this, like you're at a leftist event, or maybe you just do it by accident, because I actually ran into one of these things by total accident when I was in Boston one time, and I just happened to be walking by it to go to dinner with my husband, and I was like, oh shit, we got to go over there. And I ran into Antifa with a huge fuck off table of these zines. I collected dozens of zines that day. You're allowed to just go and take all of the zines. All of this stuff is for free, okay? They might have a donation jar out. If you want to be nice, maybe throw in $1 or $2. They'll appreciate that. They're probably also going to have like other mutual aid supplies around the table, like, you know, Plan B or gloves or like whatever is relevant in your area. They're going to have stickers and stuff like that. But basically everything on the table is for free. So you are allowed to take a copy of every single zine. And if you ever run into a table like this, One of the very most helpful things you can do is literally take everything on that fucking table and come back to your house and snap photos of it, or even just make a list of the title of the zines and what whistles. Exactly. Whistles are a great example about this. And then what you do is you just send that list to us, and we will be able to take that and say, okay, here is the propaganda being handed out right now in area X, Y, B, and Z. Because it's really helpful to know in some areas, different propaganda is handed out than in other areas. Okay. So if you know for a fact, if you went to the No Kings protest in Sacramento and you were handed one of these flyers, we now know there is Antifa in Sacramento handing out these flyers. We know that is an active Antifa cell that is out at events trying to recruit, doing all these things. What their messaging is, what their top priorities are, it's incredibly helpful information. So if you ever run into one of those, know what you're looking at, and, you know, just pick up everything and put it in a bag and report back, and that would be awesome.
We handed out free zines about the anti-IC struggle and rapid response networks, along with information about protest safety and more. Someone from a local group brought over a big bag of homemade whistle packs they had made at a recent event, featuring the number for the local rapid response line. While thousands of miles away, the struggle in Minneapolis has had ripple effects here, pushing many to embrace the fight against IC and get involved in local autonomous efforts. Many speakers at the event encouraged participants to get involved in anti-IC organizing and to support calls for a general strike on May 1st efforts we can all amplify and build toward. New York City, New York. We printed 800 flyers.
Hang on. I want to look at this. Okay. No King's March calling for, so they actually handed this out. This is crazy. Call for anarchists and anti-authoritarians. A small group of committed anarchists and anti-authoritarians will be in Black Bloc distributing literature, signs, and marching together. Wow. We are asking you to join us. The time is ripe. Let's rise up. And then they give their information.
New York City, New York. We printed 800 flyers.
800 flyers.
Our little team distributed something like 700 of them in about 2 hours. We found ourselves circulating alongside the usual suspects selling socialist newspapers, but at positive response rates probably over 80%.
Hang on.
With most of us
Who do they mean? Who do they mean? We found ourselves, pop quiz for the chat. Let's see who's been paying attention. We found ourselves circulating alongside the usual suspects selling socialist newspapers. I can think of 3 groups that might be. Who do you guys think they mean? I can think of 3 groups off the top of my head that might be. Thank you, Reagan. I appreciate it. Do you guys have any idea who they're referring to? We found ourselves alongside these usual people that we don't like. We like them so little that we're not even going to name them. Handing out socialist newspapers, selling socialist newspapers. They mean the RCA. The RCA, the Revolutionary Communists of America, not the RCP. It's very important you understand this. The RCA, not the RCP, RCA, the Revolutionary Communists of America. You got it. I do not believe they meant the PSL. The PSL does not sell a newspaper. I do not believe they meant the DSA. The DSA does not sell a newspaper. Do you know who does sell a newspaper? The Revolutionary Communists of America. It's all good, Reagan. We can't be perfect all the time. Do you know who else sells a newspaper? Socialist Alternative. Socialist Alternative, I have bought newspapers from at events like this, so it could have been Socialist Alternative. It also could have been the Independent Socialist Group, and I know that they were at the one in Boston, and I bought newspapers in Boston from both the Revolutionary Communists of America and from the Independent Socialist Group. Now we're talking about a couple bucks. It wasn't like that expensive or anything, but like those were 2 directly in Boston who were selling newspapers. I also at previous events, though not at this one, have bought a newspaper from Socialist Alternative. So that's 3 that I know of. Yeah. So they were at least in, you know what? They were selling stuff. You're right. They weren't selling a newspaper. Like, I got some stuff from them for free in Boston, but they did have, like, some paid-for zines that you had to actually pay money for, but they weren't selling a newspaper. The World Socialist website was definitely there, though.
We found ourselves circulating alongside the usual suspects selling socialist newspapers, but at positive response rates probably over 80%, with most of us remarking that sustained one-on-one conversations were a personal highlight. X. And I talked to one older white woman living in Harlem who was giving out quarter sheet flyers that just explained how to download Signal. Lit. I'm starting to feel that liberal, a coherent historical and political position advocating for free trade and political rights for citizens, is a poor descriptor of this kind of crowd. The widespread affect was both anger and directionlessness.
Okay, really think about what they're saying here. This is a person at the New York City protests, an Antifa member that went there to hand out Antifa propaganda, and they're saying, I'm starting to think that this term liberal is a poor descriptor of the people who are at the No Kings protest. The widespread effect was both anger and directionlessness. So what they're saying is, from their perspective, the people at the No Kings protest in New York City are angry at Trump and they're angry at the Democratic Party. They're not necessarily liberal. Like, as a reminder, Antifa are not liberal. They hate liberals. Liberals are the enemy of them. They are not the same group. No, they don't vote. Like, that's retarded. It's retarded to think that Antifa would vote for Kamala Harris. That's like actually super fucking retarded. But like those are two different groups. No, they don't sell weed. That's a completely different thing. So Antifa is saying this group of people, they're not really liberals. They're just pissed off. They're pissed off at Trump. They're pissed off at the Democratic Party. They're pissed off at the establishment, and they don't have any direction. What that means is that is a fertile ground for recruitment. Okay? That means if you've got angry people who don't have a leader, they're feeling directionless, they don't know what to do, they don't trust either party, they think everyone has fucked them over, that is a fertile ground for recruitment and radicalization to the far left.
The widespread affect was both anger and directionlessness. X remarked that it would have been easy and politically striking to enter the crowd with huge banners on sticks or flags saying free the Prairiland defendants. The march offered physical and political space for that kind of heterogeneous vibe. An avant-garde contingent could have made use of it. It would have been moving to me to do something like that. It probably been useful for creating a poll to flyer and start conversations around, assuming we had a concrete project to involve people in. Anarchists carried banners at the front of the march on the Capitol building in Phoenix, Arizona during the March 28, 2026 No Kings demonstrations. A college town. We live in a college town of less than 100,000 people.
I want to look at this. Again, this is just a better picture of the Phoenix March.
We live in a college town of less than 100,000 people. We published an open call for an anarchist contingent in the No Kings demonstration here. The demonstration was to begin downtown, then march through the business district to a rally a half hour's walk away. We knew it would be very difficult to find each other in the crowd. So we chose a convergence point several blocks away, a location that has often served as a gathering point for previous anarchist demonstrations. As it turned out, however, some of us knew it would be
shit. Nope, that's completely wrong. It was never a symbol for LGBTQ. It was always a symbol for queer liberation. The reason you think it was a symbol for LGBTQ is you were lied to by someone. You were either lied to by a conservative influencer who didn't know what the fuck they were talking about, or you were lied to by someone who was just very confused. But the pink triangle, whether it's upside down or right side up, because it really could be either, it was a symbol that was popularized. Well, obviously it came from World War II, but it was really popularized by queer liberationists. Queer liberationists are not the same thing as what you think of as LGBTQ, because you don't have to be gay to be queer. You don't have to be trans to be queer. It's a completely different thing. If you want to learn more about this, I'm literally writing a book about it. You can find out more by heading over to my Substack. That is Carlin, Karlyn.substack.com. Click click on new to my work, and I want you to scroll down and watch this lecture, An Introduction to Queer Marxism, the far left's most dystopian ideology. That explains the evolution of this ideology, things that you probably have no idea about because you're confusing queer and LGBT. Those are not the same thing at all, which you will learn when you watch that lecture if you choose to avail yourself of the freely available content that I've created for you to compensate for all of the people who lie about this and don't know what they're talking about. You're welcome.
We knew it would be very difficult to find each other in the crowd. So we chose a convergence point several blocks away, a location that has often served as a gathering point for previous anarchist demonstrations. As it turned out, however, some of us met there and proceeded to the main starting point together. Others showed up at the starting point of the main demonstration and indeed became lost in the crowd, and still others went directly to the site of the rally to set up literature tables, as they had done at the previous 2 No Kings demonstrations. Once those of us who met at the convergence point reached the crowd, which consisted of many thousands of people, we began distributing stickers and handbills promoting anarchism and an upcoming date. On the Breaking the IC speaking tour that was booked nearby.
In case people don't know this, I covered this before, but just in case my dog's barking at something, my husband's probably home. Just in case people don't know this, Antifa is literally going on a speaking tour. One in the chat if you know that Antifa is going on a speaking tour all over the country to teach other Antifa about what they did in Minnesota. 2 in the chat if this is new information. Now, if conservatives actually did their fucking job, they would have covered this all over conservative media, but conservatives don't do that. Oh, that's right. It's not that they're going on one. It's that they're already on one literally right now. So Antifa is actually doing a speaking tour all over the country where Antifa from Minnesota are literally traveling all over the country to teach other Antifa members how to do exactly what they did from Minnesota. It is called Breaking the Ice, Lessons from Resistance in Minnesota, and you can find their tour dates here over the, actually, they're almost done their speaking tour. They're literally almost done. They're literally almost done their little speaking tour. Has conservative media covered this? No, I covered it when they announced it. Just FYI. So that is what they're talking about there. Antifa is so fucking industrious. They're doing a nationwide speaking tour, and no one on the right seems to know that this is happening.
Once those of us who met at the convergence point reached the crowd, which consisted of many thousands of people, we began distributing stickers and handbills promoting anarchism and an upcoming date. On the Breaking the IC speaking tour that was booked nearby. We gave out several hundred of these, but the march got underway before we could find each other again. So we marched in smaller knots, carrying our banners separately rather than in a single block. In the end, it may not have made much of a difference. Almost everyone on the streets was in the march, so there was no crowd of spectators to witness a coherent anarchist contingent. When the march reached the rally, it was easy to find each other around the folding tables that our comrades had set up and covered with zines. Throughout the rally, people came up to the tables. This turned out to be the part of the day when we were most identifiable as a political pole within the crowd. One smart tabler put up flyers throughout the rally area, encouraging people to download Signal and subscribe to the local announcements only Signal thread promoting anarchist events in the area.
Can we do that? Oh, no, it's just a document about how to do Signal. Okay. So when you come across an Antifa table in your area, if you ever see one of these things, this is exactly what it looks like, guys. When I was talking earlier about, like, if you ever see a table filled with zines, you're allowed to take all these zines. This is literally what it looks like. It is an entire table full of, like, these little booklets that you're allowed to take, really as many as you want, but you probably only need 1, maybe 2, I guess, if you're being, like, cautious or whatever. But like but like that, if you want to collect 2 of each so you can send 1 to me and keep 1 for yourself, that's totally fine. But you really only need to take 1 because we can always find digital copies of these if we just know the title of them, so it's really not that big of a deal. But that is what that table looks like. I'm just showing you guys this so that you can be prepared if you ever come across something that looks like this. That is what that table looks like. I am sure he is far too low IQ to even begin to know how to talk to me, and so I respectfully decline. Stop spamming my chat on Kick.
an anarchist literature table at a No King. Among ourselves, we took different approaches to engaging with the crowd. I spent the entire time proselytizing for the upcoming speaking event, just trying to get people into the room to learn about direct action. By contrast, one comrade got into a shouting match with a liberal carrying a sign proclaimed, "I want to be governed, not looted." The liberal simply would not understand why an anarchist would prefer to loot and not to be governed. Although students.
By contrast, one comrade got into a shouting match with a liberal carrying a sign to proclaim, "I want to be governed, not looted." A liberal simply would not understand why an anarchist would prefer to loot and not be governed. This is an excellent example of the difference between liberals and Antifa. Antifa does not like liberals. Antifa believes that liberals, the liberal, inclination to engage in non-violent action actively inhibits what Antifa wants to do. Antifa explicitly rejects non-violence. I'm going to say this again. We have seen over the past year and a half or so increasing Antifa calls to explicitly reject non-violence. Liberals embrace nonviolent protest. Antifa rejects non-violent protest. Anyone who says that Antifa are liberal and that liberals are Antifa has no fucking clue what they're talking about, and you need to stop listening to them immediately because they will lie to you over and over and over and over and over again. Okay? So, you're seeing it here now. This silly Antifa's like, this silly liberal was talking about nonviolence, and I just don't understand this silly liberal because we want to loot and break shit and steal shit, and we don't want to be governed. It is two completely different belief systems.
Although students at the university make up fully a quarter of the population of this town, the majority of the participants in the demonstration were in their 40s or older. That underscores the fact that while many millions of people have participated in the No Kings demonstrations.
Okay, Tiffanel, we need to have a little talk. We need to have a little talk. We need to have a little fucking talk. See, I have to do this now. And Tiffanel, you are the one that is making me do this. So I want to be very fucking clear. Tiffanel on Rumble says, "I wish Dr. Carlin could realize many of us conservatives are not Republicans or members of the GOP. As a conservative Buddhist, I don't like being lumped into that oligarchy." Hey, guess the fuck what? I don't give a fuck if you don't want to be lumped into the group of feckless fucking losers that you are choosing to be a part of. I want to be very, very fucking clear about this. I am so sick of the one. Not all conservatives are the same. Do you want to go look at my fucking Twitter replies on any given day and see exactly what percent of people on the right are in my replies, calling me a leftist, calling me a communist, spreading bullshit and lies about me, overtly making shit up, not knowing what the fuck they're talking about? The vast majority of conservatives and right-wingers that I interact with on a day-to-day basis are low IQ fucking retards that are not capable of understanding what is going on, that have been made stupid by their own influencers. If you have a problem with this, go fix it on your own side. If you have any expectation that I am going to stop calling this out because I'm hurting your feelings, no, motherfucker. You gave me $5 on Rumble. My loyalty is not to you for $5 fucking dollars. My loyalty is not to your feelings for $5 fucking dollars. My loyalty is to defeating the left. Every single fucking time one of you losers has a fucking breakdown, Carlin hurt my feelings and she hurts everyone's feelings, and conservatives don't want to listen to her because she hurts their feelings. I don't give a fuck. I don't get, bro, I gotta come over to Kick now and ban you because you are continuing to fuck up my chat for no good fucking reason. My God. My God. Hang on. I need to ban this person in the chat. Ban. There we go. All taken care of over on Kick. Back to this. I do not care if conservatives get their feelings hurt when I correctly point out to them that conservatives are the fucking problem. Conservatives are the biggest challenge that we have to overcome to defeat the left. By conservatives, I mean people who consider themselves to be conservative. I mean people who consider themselves to be MAGA. I mean the entire fucking Republican Party that needs to get burnt to the ground. If you don't like it, then go fix your own side. But if you have any expectation that I'm going to coddle your feelings or I'm going to coddle the feelings of conservatives who are constantly fucking, I'll use their word, butthurt about being told the fucking truth, that is not going to happen. And if you have any expectation that you're going to buy that for a $5 super chat, I think that's not an accurate view of what is going to go on. So cut that shit out. It is not my fault, bro, that your side sucks. And if you continue whining and complaining, I'm not going to allow it. I will not allow it. It is so fucking distracting. Back to this. Sorry.
That underscores the fact that
Yo! Do we have some channel memberships? 5 channel memberships. W's old sub. Thank you. It's a tough world. Suck it up, buttercup. Yeah. I don't exactly like it when conservatives send me death threats. I don't exactly like it when right-wingers send me death threats and say they're going to out me to Antifa, so Antifa kicks the shit out of me. I don't actually like it when they do that. I mean, I don't know. Imagine that. You start to lose your sympathy very, very quickly for feelings when you're getting sent fucking death threats.
That underscores the fact that while many millions of people have participated in the No Kings demonstrations, millions more who opposed Donald Trump, especially from the demographics that were the driving force behind the George Floyd rebellion, have stayed home. So far, afterwards, I spoke with anarchists in several mid-sized Midwestern cities whose efforts to engage with No Kings had gone similarly. They had showed up with banners and marched together in small groups without anything happening that was especially worth reporting on. But they did distribute a lot of handbills, whether about the Prairieland case or other things. I still think it would be advantageous to be able to show up to these demonstrations in large numbers with black flags and march together in a coherent block. If we want people to be interested in participating in anarchist initiatives, we have to show that we are a force to be reckoned with. When the streets are already full of people and the police have their hands full, doing so should be easier and safer than usual. A banner displayed by an anarchist contingent in a No Kings demonstration.
Hang on, let's take a look at this. Fuego a la migra. Okay, so this is an instance where you have, again, la migra. Anytime you see fucking Spanish or anything like that, this is going to be an immigrant rights organization. You again have the monarch, which is the symbol of like anti-ICE activism through the immigrant rights organizations, but they're also saying this is Antifa. So again, like there's overlap in a lot of these groups, and we just need to be nuanced about it, guys. Again, like there's almost no rule that you can say 100% of the time X means Y, okay? You can say it with a pretty high degree of certainty. You can say like in most cases, in 95% of cases, whiteness means capitalism. Whiteness is not a reference to skin color. Whiteness is a reference to systemic racism. That's true in probably more than 95%, but I'm using it as an example. Every once in a while, though, a rare exception comes along where someone is actually talking about skin color. Robin DiAngelo would be one of those people because Robin DiAngelo is a progressive. She's not actually a far leftist. She's a progressive. And Robin DiAngelo is also a racist progressive. And so Robin DiAngelo specifically oftentimes is talking about skin color. That does not mean that the majority of the left is talking about skin color. It means there are exceptions to the rule, and they need to be treated as exceptions to the rule, not the rule. If you truly want to understand the far left, you have to be nuanced in your thinking about this. Most of the time, immigrant rights organizations are not Antifa. Sometimes there will be overlap between immigrant rights organizations and Antifa because sometimes it's Antifa working at the immigrant rights organization and running it, and that is like actually their job. Okay? Does everyone understand what I'm saying? I feel like this might be too nuanced for the internet to really grasp, but we're going to give it a try. 1 in the chat if you understand what I'm saying, 2 in the chat if this is confusing. Just because exceptions happen does not mean that changes the rule. Just because there's like one crazy progressive lady on the internet talking about white skin color does not mean that the vast majority of the far left is talking about skin color when they say whiteness, because they're talking about systemic racism, the system that upholds racism, which is capitalism. The exception does not disprove the rule. The exception is just an exception, okay? Cool. Seems like people understand.
A banner display a mid-sized city. We live in a mid-sized city, somewhere around 180,000 people. Our previous No Kings events were pretty substantial, and this weekend was no different with maybe 2,000 people participating. A medium-sized group of us showed up in full black bloc. Before we even reached the protest, we were heckled by trucks and passers-by. Fortunately, we were not the only anarchists there. We immediately found others in bloc that we didn't even know. Once we combined numbers, we comprised a decent proportion of the protesters present. We spent much of our time leading chants and dancing to music, while the liberals around us sat in almost dead silence.
We spent time leading chants and dancing while the liberals were just sitting around being silent. Again, how many times? And guys, remember, these are report backs from multiple different Antifa groups. This is not all coming from the same Antifa group, okay? Every different section is a report back from a different Antifa cell. In every single report back so far, they've said something to the effect of, liberals are doing this and we are doing that. So they're constantly differentiating themselves. And by the way, when they say liberals, what they mean is Democrats, liberals, and progressives. They don't just mean, and probably honestly the DSA types too, but let's just put them aside for a second. They don't just mean, so you know how on my Mapping the Modern Left, we have the tiers of leftism. We have Democrats, liberals, progressives, democratic socialists, revolutionary socialists. When Antifa is saying liberals, they mean Democrats, liberals, and progressives. They mean all three because they're categorizing them all into the general category of liberal. That is why, like, Antifa's on the far left, liberals are not on the far left. Can I get ones in the chat if you understand and are seeing the differences between Antifa and liberals? Can I get 2s in the chat if you're still convinced that Antifa and liberals are the same thing? Yeah, this is a really good way to put it. Liberals are the ones who support capitalism. Democrats, liberals, and progressives support capitalism. Antifa and even democratic socialists do not. Thanks, Naruti, for the super chat. I'm so excited the return of Lauren Chen is upon us. The coping from Twitter, from conservative media is going to be glorious. Yeah, that is going to be glorious. And I am glad Lauren's telling her story about that. I think it's going to be really interesting. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate it.
We also handed out about 100 pamphlets and zines and talked to even more people about what being an anarchist means for us. Our location in the protest was interesting. We were located on the sidewalk adjacent to a busy intersection, with us at the very end, facing the busiest corner in the area. Many drivers and passers-by honked and chanted in support as they passed by. Others were less supportive. One truck dropped burning coal rocks in front of us. It was more pathetic than dangerous. About 45 minutes in, we saw a crowd developing on the other side of the intersection, wearing MAGA hats and carrying flags and signs of hate. They kept shouting at us from the other side of the street and occasionally throwing things at us. Finally, some of the counter-protesters broke off from their group and walked towards our crowd. We interpreted this as a threat against...
Let's pause. This is a lesson in what not to do unless you want to get your fucking ass kicked. I know everyone wants to be a hero with these protests. I know there are people who want to go viral on social media. I know there are people who are willing to get their asses kicked in order to go viral on social media. I totally get it. But I've been around this for a long time now, and I can tell you that every single time the MAGA retards form a counter protest, it actually doesn't make things better. It just makes things worse. It creates more confrontation. It drives away people who might be otherwise sympathetic. It is always 100% of the time counterproductive. That actually makes the MAGA retards look worse than the leftist protesters. 100% of the time that this happens. Now you might say, Carlin, so you don't want us to fight back? No, you fucking retards. I want you to be strategic about what you're doing. Going to a protest and hurling insults and throwing shit at protesters, that is not a productive use of time or energy. It does not have the right optics. You are not actually accomplishing anything. When you are insulting someone, that doesn't mean you win the battle. Right-wingers seem to think that if they just own the libs hard enough and destroy them through insulting them and then calling them butthurt, that means they win the argument. In fact, you just look like a bunch of retards who are incapable of actually forming an intellectual argument to anyone with an IQ over 75. It does not work. That is why when we are going to the protests, we do not argue, we do not debate, we do not hurl insults, we do not try to debunk the libs and own the libs. We don't do any of this bullshit. We literally go, collect their propaganda, understand what messaging they're saying, finding out which groups are active in the area, documenting that, getting information on local meetings and event venues and stuff like that. That is far more productive and far more impactful in the long term than going and working out your feelings by owning the libs. Okay? Brittany says, I met so many nice people at the protest. A lot of them are very nice. You can't win them over by attacking them. You have to have a conversation. I didn't do that, though, because I was there for the info. I mean, listen, maybe next time, Brittany, but I think this is a really important point for people to understand. Most of the people that are going to these protests, they're nice. They're having a good time. They're in an environment they want to be in. If you're a person that comes and just starts hurling insults and throwing shit at them, that's not going to leave a very good perception. It's also not very persuasive. And long term, it accomplishes like literally nothing.
We interpreted this as a threat. About 45 minutes in, we saw a crowd developing on the other side of the intersection, wearing MAGA hats and carrying flags and signs of hate. They kept shouting at us from the other side of the street and occasionally throwing things at us. Finally, some of the counter-protesters broke off from their group and walked towards our crowd. We interpreted this as a threat against the safety of every protester present, but also as an opportunity to show people that we don't have to tolerate hate. We moved to the edge of the sidewalk and cut them off, preventing them from getting to the rest of the crowd. We yelled over them and refused to give them the opportunity to speak. When they got right up to us, they began yelling and threatening us, which caught the attention of some protest marshals. The marshals demanded that we let them pass and not give them any attention. We acted like we didn't hear the marshals and continued blocking the counter-protesters off of the massive sign poetically. It read, "Fascists not welcome." Eventually, the counter-protesters made their way back to their people. Altogether, they numbered no more than a dozen compared to our nearly 2,000. We believed our presence at No Kings was a local success. We spoke to a lot of people sympathetic to anarchism and anarchists. We made many new friends and some enemies.
We believe our presence at No Kings was a local success. We spoke to many people sympathetic to anarchism and anarchists. We made many new friends and some enemies, and we did so unapologetically. So again, like the Antifa group is saying, we had a lot of success finding people that are more sympathetic to the far left at the No Kings protest.
We made many new friends and some enemies. but we did so unapologetically. One thing we did that we would like to recommend to anarchists everywhere else: stop bringing your phones to protests and instead bring mesh-tastic lore devices. We were able to communicate effectively and efficiently without getting pinged by any cell towers. Our presence was basically invisible there, and being able to communicate that way gave us a unique advantage over our local surveillance adversaries. Portland, Oregon. This video shows a conflict at the IC facility in Portland.
Okay, let's watch the video. What are we saying here? Now remember, we watched coverage from Portland on the night of the No Kings protest. The No Kings protest was when the people protesting outside the ICE facility in Portland tried to break into the ICE facility. It was a very eventful night. By the way, I want to mention this. Saturday, we're going to be doing live protest coverage all day. I know Sunday's my birthday. Sunday is a celebration of my birthday. It's a celebration of me. I'm going to be doing a marathon stream on Sunday. You guys already know this. But on Saturday, it's kind of like Antifa knew it was my birthday. And they said, Carlin, we are going to deliver you protest coverage this weekend. On Saturday, there is a nationwide national fuck ICE day, in which we are going to see protests and bullshit all over the country. They're starting early in the day, too. They're starting at like noon. So there's actually going to be like fuck ICE events going on all over the country. I really hope all the streamers are going to be out streaming, because I will do coverage all day on Saturday. We'll have a good old time with it. I'm sure it's going to be popping in Portland. We're going to see a lot of bullshit going on there. And so on Saturday, please, make plans right now to spend the entire day with me. We'll do it'll be like birthday part 1 and birthday part 2 on my actual birthday. So that'll be awesome. Let's watch this video and see what they're talking about. 6 minutes. Holy shit.
Cover up war. Resist ICE.
Same day, yes. Not the same footage, same day. The point of this, just in case you're unclear, the point of this is to see what propaganda Antifa is putting out about this. So it doesn't actually matter if we are watching live coverage on the same day, because what we're doing is watching the propaganda that Antifa is putting out. This is an Antifa-made video that was filmed by Antifa in front of the Portland ICE facility. We weren't watching Antifa's live feed, so this is what is going out to Antifa all over the country, putting out their perspective on what happened.
Get up and move. We're temporarily closing the area. Everybody goes. Everybody moves. Let's go.
Not try to fight us. We'll use force. Move that way. Go that way. If you try to fight me with that, I will use force. You're blocking them in. Tell them to move. Tell them to move. Tell them to move. Because you're standing
You gotta move, I'm gonna have to push it. Please just move that way. That's what I've been saying, bro. Well, you haven't heard. Please move that way.
It's just a costume. Anyone, literally anyone can wear the frog costume. They have like 5 or 6 of them. So Just because one person got banned from the ICE facility doesn't mean the frog is banned from the ICE facility. It just means someone else is going to put on the costume. That's it.
I mean, I love my job. I respect what makes you happy. I love my job. I love what I know if that text is going to go to jail. You understand that? Okay. You text it. Back the fuck up!
Cowards afraid of a pink dancing frog. This is why you're in military gear.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's right. Wow. And guys, I just want to point out that this is what happens when you literally don't arrest them. This is what happens when you are a massive pussy like Donald Trump and you refuse to do anything about this shit for like literally over a year on end now. This is what happens when you refuse to fucking arrest them and do any consequences for their actions at all. Things just get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And it's going to get worse. And we're going to have quite a show this weekend. And I'm really looking forward to it. Fascist counter protester across the street got hit with a pie. Okay, that's nice. That's it. That's it. Okay. Back to this. Wait. Oh shit. Did they God damn it. Not to find the place where we were. There's the video. Okay, so we just watched this video, Portland, Oregon. Let's continue.
After roughly 30,000 people flooded downtown Portland for the No Kings Parade, a few hundred made their way to the IC facility on the South Waterfront. People chanting "ICE out" filled the driveway, stepping over the thin blue line that federal agents painted across the entrance to denote the point beyond which they are determined to arrest people. After someone burned an American flag in the driveway, federal agents surged out and made an arrest. The crowd immediately pushed forward, forcing the agents to retreat back inside. Over 100 people flooded the driveway. Projectiles flew towards the feds' water bottles, sticks, and random objects. Surprisingly, Department of Homeland Security agents did not respond with munitions.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Hang on. Okay. Listen, just your everyone over on Rumble, or every day over on Rumble. Listen. I understand that you're new here. I understand that you don't know a lot of the backstory. But I'm gonna explain something to you right now. Hey, a buddy recommended your work to me. Good, I'm glad he recommended me. Do you ever do podcast collab with other conservative influencers? One, I am not a conservative. I would never lower myself to call myself a conservative. I am much further right than most conservatives will ever hope to be. So far as I am concerned, conservatives are fucking liberal. And so I don't consider myself to be a conservative influencer, and I do not do collaborations with conservative influencers because most of them are far too stupid to talk to me. They have no conception of what's going on. They are not capable of any sort of intelligent conversation. The only thing they care about is clickbait and bullshit. And so, no. I normally do not do collaborations. If someone wants to collaborate with me, they can DM me and ask, but mostly the answer is going to be no. The Hodge twins seem like nice guys. The Hodge twins seem like very nice guys. They follow me on Twitter occasionally. They share my work. I don't think the Hodge twins can have a intelligent conversation with me about what I do. I don't think the Hodge twins have any clue about this stuff. And certainly, Blair White can go fuck themselves. Blair White is a fucking grifter who will say and do whatever Blair White needs to say and do to make money and to have clout and to buy clothes and makeup and all those things. How do I know that? I used to do events with Blair White back in 2020. I have been around Blair White on more than one occasion. Blair White is not smart, has all of their them's talking points prepared for them ahead of time by someone else, reads off a fucking script, gets drunk before they go on stage, by the way. I saw Blair White DoorDash a bottle of vodka to an event because them was so afraid of going on stage and reading the talking points that had been prepared for them by someone else that they had to get drunk before they went on stage. Blair White could not ever understand what I do. Blair White is not smart enough to follow what I do. Talking to Blair White is also an intellectually dishonest shill, by the way, who again will literally say whatever them needs to say in order to make money to buy clothes and makeup and that sort of thing. And so no, I will never lower myself to do anything with Blair White. The Hodge twins, again, seem like nice guys. I don't really see any point in it because I don't think that they are capable of understanding what I'm doing. But welcome to the deep dive I just threw you into the pool with. Hope you enjoy it here.
Surprisingly, Department of Homeland Security agents did not respond with munitions. The vicinity of the IC facility in Portland, Oregon.
Yeah.
Shortly after 6 p.m., a band set up across the street, using a megaphone propped up on a mic stand. By sunset, the crowd had swelled to around 500. As the band played on, another rhythm took over, the rattle of the facility gates, shaking in time with the drums. Then suddenly they gave way. The gates burst open, and a few people stepped through. DHS took their time responding. No Border Patrol, no Border Patrol tactical unit, no familiar wall of federal tactical gear, at least, not at first. For the first time in a long time, the feds in Portland hesitated. It turned out that they were waiting for backing from the local authorities. Soon after DHS went back inside, Portland police by cops formed a line up the street at the intersection of Bancroft and McAdam. A riot van pulled in behind them, and Oregon state troopers spilled out to join the formation. State troopers arrive. Police line. A Portland police officer known for his brutality. Together, they advanced on crowd.
That's
the
funny.
The push from police was immediate and aggressive. They shoved people to pavement, knocked older folks out of lawn chairs, barked orders to move back when there was physically nowhere to go. They forced the crowd back until they reached the edge of the facility, then declared the area closed, holding the line while the feds repaired their gate. Just before 8 p.m., nearly an hour later, police pulled back. The gate was fixed and local police had finished doing the feds' bidding. The crowd erupted. Whose streets? Our streets. The fixed gate didn't last 2 minutes. Hands were back on the gate.
True.
Metal groaned. And once again, it broke open. The crowd roared. Graffiti spread across the building. Kill Nazis, among other tags. Within minutes, DHS returned this time, with Border Patrol agents in full fatigues and gas masks. They carried out more arrests, bringing the total to at least 4. DHS agents at night before they retreated. DHS agents guarding the gate, the contested territory. One federal mercenary displaying egregiously bad muzzle discipline. Protesters attempted to pull back those the officers targeted. They successfully de-arrested some people, despite being continuously obstructed by a wall of live streamers.
Hang on. That's important. Hang on. Here it is. Protesters attempted to pull back those the officers targeted. They successfully de-arrested some people. What does that mean? Does anyone know what that means? Antifa is saying protesters tried to pull back and the cops came in and we were able to successfully de-arrest people. It does mean they won. Yeah. Antifa has a zine. I have seen this zine. Bing! Reagan and I thought the same thing. Yep. Antifa has a zine. I will put the link to Sprout Distro. This is Sprout Distro is like one of the big zine distribution hubs. So if you want to know what the zines say, you can go to Sprout Distro and see directly what they're doing. But the de-arrest primer is I've seen this de-arrest primer all over the country. I have multiple copies of this de-arrest primer. I'm pretty sure we've looked at it. We probably should read this on stream at some point. We need to get back. So many fucking things we need to do. We need to get back into zine reading essentially. But the de-arrest primer is actually like an operational document that Antifa has created. This zine provides basic introduction to de-arresting, aka free folks from the grasp of law enforcement officers. It covers a number of different tactics and goes into the risks involved. Antifa trains to do this. Antifa has an This is not a small zine, by the way. It's 20 fucking pages long. They have an operational document that teaches them how you engage in de-arrest tactics. If you're doing these types of direct action, how do you save people from the grasp of the police to be arrested?
They successfully de-arrested some people, despite being continuously obstructed by a wall of live streamers and photographers raising their cameras. Even then, however, the feds held back on using munitions. This was shocking, not what people have come to expect at the IC facility. The officers moved and made arrests and retreated, only to experience another barrage of projectiles. Bottles, sticks, eggs, and other objects rained down until they disappeared behind their doors. While the restraint and lack of less than lethals on the part of federal agents was noticeable, this didn't make the brutality of their arrests any less violent. As multiple arrestees were slammed down to ground, piled on, and dragged away, and at least one officer pointed his loaded sidearm directly at people's heads. Throughout the night, a handful of far-right instigators were identified and forced out of crowd. One of them was pummeled with water balloons filled with pink paint to the laughter and cheers of onlookers. Flags caught fire against one American flag, and one flag bearing a swastika. At one point, someone climbed.
I love this. Flags caught fire again. The flag just poof. The flag just caught fire, guys. The American flag just caught fire. We don't know how it caught fire. It's not as though there's video of us dousing the flag in lighter fluid and then lighting it on fire. No. The flag just spontaneously caught fire. We had nothing to do with it. It just did it on its own. Oopsie poopsie. Yup, what can you do? Flags catch fire. It's the way it goes.
At one point, someone climbed onto the awning and dismantled the security camera piece by piece. This inspired people to take down several other cameras, pulling the wiring out. Right-wing instigators. Why did federal agents show unusual restraint? Why were local police left to do the bulk of the crowd control? These remain open questions. But one thing is not in question. People kept coming. They repeatedly crossed the blue line painted on the ground. They came back again every time federal agents attempted to push them back. Whatever strategy was unfolding behind those doors, it met with rage, defiance, and a refusal to back down. Mercenaries
my
exit.
God.
Stage.
This person. I'm sorry. We have a Rumble retard update. Bro, you've got to be fucking trolling me. You have to be. This has to be a fake account. Can I tell anything about this account? No, I can't. This has to be a fake account. This cannot be fucking real. This is the same person that was like, would you collaborate with Blair White because they're awesome? Do you ever discuss things like bathroom bills, trans infiltrating schools to do God knows what with the kids and increasingly anti-white sentiment? Bro, you have been consuming way too much conservative bullshit propaganda. No, I do not cover conservative bullshit propaganda. We only do stuff that's actually happening in the real world. We don't do conservative bullshit propaganda here. Like I cannot be more clear about this. And I said, do I look like a conservative retard to you? And then this person says, I'm just asking. I've never really tapped into your work. I just heard through the grapevine you're trying to take down the left. So I thought that includes things like speaking against things like trans groomers and black nationalists. Are you a Fed? Like, honestly, like, is this fucking Fed posting? Like, bro. One of us is trying to take down the left. The other one is completely unhinged from what the left is doing because you are either trolling or you are consuming way, way, way too much conservative retard propaganda, or you're a Fed because I feel like this is hello, fellow fascists. Hello, fellow fascists. It's like, yeah, what is your badge number, officer? Are you fucking retarded? It's gotta be one in the chat if this person is a real person who's just consuming too much conservative retard propaganda. 2 in the chat if this person is a troll. 3 in the chat if this person is a Fed. 1 for a poor lost soul that has just consumed way too much conservative retard propaganda. 2 for troll. 3 for Fed. Thanks, old subs. Yeah, that's actually a really good point, no sub. That's actually a real old sub. Old sub, not no sub. Let's see. Okay, we're not talking to you anymore, bro. You either shut up and listen or you don't. I don't really care. I truly and sincerely don't care. We're at the end of the article anyway. Actually, we're basically at the end of the article. Yeah. Okay, so we are basically at the end of the article that we were just listening to anyway. So that is actually basically the end of the Antifa report back. Now, listen. There's some other stuff that we can read today from Antifa. We can continue the stream. We can read this No Blogs documentation that they cited in the article. We can read we can look at the propaganda they were handing out at the No Kings protest. I definitely want to do that. We can actually look at the propaganda that they created and handed out for the No Kings protest. We can do a whole bunch of these things. The thing is, though, guys, we are running way, way short of the channel membership goal for today. W's for Deets donating a channel membership. Appreciate that, bro. That's fucking awesome. So, guys, here's the thing. Whether we continue to read more Antifa documents about the No Kings protest or whether I do it on my own, this is entirely up to you guys. So if you guys want me to continue the stream doing the analysis of the Antifa stuff, then I need to see like at least 50 channel memberships. Like I need like 30 more channel memberships to at least get us to within some respectable distance of the goal. Right now, we are so fucking far off the goal, it's not even funny, okay? So if you want me to continue the class, I have now given you 2 hours basically for 21 subs, which is fine, and I appreciate it. If you want me to continue this class, Let's see a round of channel memberships. I'm not asking for the sun, the moon, and the stars. There are 162 people watching on YouTube right now. I don't know how many people are watching on Rumble or other places. We can amass 30 channel memberships among those people. And if we can't, then I'm just going to assume that you guys don't want to continue class, and that's cool. I have other work to do. Can we get 30 more channel memberships? If we can't, that's cool. I will literally just go do other work. I will literally just go do something else with my time. W's to Anthony with a channel membership. I appreciate that. We need 28 more. 28 people throw in $5. We're already there. So it's like, I'll give you guys a couple minutes to work it out if you want to continue the stream or not. And if you don't, I'm going to go do other stuff. Ginny in Texas over on Rumble with a gifted channel membership. Thank you, Ginny. I really do appreciate it. Okay. 27. Oh, it is a troll! It is a troll! It's a Kiwi Farms fucking troll! It's a Kiwi Farms fucking troll! It's a Kiwi Farms fucking troll! Excuse me, her husband is in jail for selling credit cards to pedos. Google Alex Campbell Brown. It is a troll. It is a fucking troll. Look at it. Google out, bro. His name is Aaron, you retard. Doesn't even know my college boyfriend's name. Not my husband, bro. You can't even do basic research. Obviously, far too stupid to be here, bro. Obviously. My husband's name is Victor Borisenko. My college boyfriend's name is Aaron Campbell Brown. This is a smear campaign you retards have been running on me for years. You're not even doing a good job of it. You don't even know my college boyfriend's name. She is a leftist psyop. Who picked troll in the chat? Who picked troll? Who picked troll? Everyone put a W for everyone who picked troll in the chat earlier. Very sorry, bro. Banned forever from the channel. Bye. All right, guys. Sadly, it looks like you guys don't want to continue the stream today, which is totally fine. I really do appreciate the 23 people who sent, or the 23 gifted channel memberships. Thank you so much for that, guys. I appreciate everyone who sent in super chats. I really do appreciate it. I cannot spend time doing this without being independently funded by you. That is why we are ending the stream now. I do appreciate that, 777. Thank you so much. You guys want to give it one last try before I wrap up the stream? We still got 26 to go. I'll give you guys one more chance. If you're like, Carlin, are you serious about ending the stream? I'm like, yeah, I actually am. I am. W's Virgo Moon. Okay, we got 25 to go. Not to put pressure on you guys, but I worked for free for years to do this, and I've reached a place with it where I'm no longer extending extra effort for free. I'm just not doing it anymore. Okay, so I will absolutely end the stream. I'll give you guys maybe a couple more minutes to like work it out if you want to figure it out. But like, we got through a bunch today. We got through the stuff I wanted to get through. Any other content's really bonus content, but I'm not gonna continue if we can't get, up to 50 channel memberships. So them's the rules. Gotta go do other things to make money when you guys are not funding it. So that's just the way it goes. Do. Thanks, Donna. W's to Donna. Appreciate that. Do. Where the fuck did my Rumble chat go? Did I accidentally click off the Rumble chat? The Rumble chat has now disappeared off my screen. There it is. There it is. There it is. Look at the sticker. Well, where did you put the sticker? Where did you put it? You need to give me more information than that. Like, I will look at it. I mean, we got a little extra time here before I end the stream, but like, where did you actually put it? Yo, Brown Barbaloot! W's, 5 channel memberships. Appreciate that. It's in Substack. Okay, give me 1 sec. I'll pull up the Substack for you. Give me 1 sec. Gotta add that to the tally. Okay. Let me see. Let me see. Gotta get into the chat. Yo! Here's the new sticker. I love it. It's got a QR code on it. It's got some other stuff on it. Love it, love it, love it. And those are the words that you got tattooed on you, I think, when you got the Plague Doctor tattoo. Looks great, old sub. I really, really appreciate you making those. I think it's awesome. And again, I want to encourage people, if you ever want to take my stuff and make something cool with it, please feel free to do that. If you want to hand stuff out or make stickers on your own, like you can buy them from my merch store if you want to. You don't have to. If you want to take my images and print them out and make stickers or like whatever you guys want to do or use it to like as part of some cool thing, just make it look cool. That is like literally my only request. If you're going to take my stuff, my branding has a very specific look. Things need to look cool, okay? Don't make anything boomer. If I give you feedback, I'm trying to help you. But like, if you want to take my stuff and you want to do something with it, totally do it. And that's awesome. Okay, guys, looks like we aren't going to make that channel membership goal. But again, I really do appreciate everyone who sent in channel memberships. You fought the good fight. It didn't work out today. Too many freeloaders on the stream who just want me to do all the work and then not actually like fund the work that I'm doing. So that's a sad reality. It happens sometimes. Yo, Fosnots, fucking seriously. Fucking seriously. You're making me continue the fucking stream. Yo! You assholes. You absolute assholes waiting until the last fucking minute. W's to Fosnos, W's to Andre, each gifting 20 channel membership. You know what? I can't be mad at it. I cannot be mad at it. I can't be mad at it. We have to keep streaming now. It's over. It's over. We got to keep going. I'm going to do right by you guys. Yo, I really do appreciate that though. That is very, very generous. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for picking up the slack. For all of the slackers, I really do want to start a tradition on this channel where when people come to class, I'm not saying everyone. Again, I want to really, really emphasize. I know that times are tight for a lot of people, and I want to be very respectful of that. However, like, I'm not asking people who truly cannot afford $5 to give $5. I'm not asking that. I really am not. There are people in the chat who do a lot of stuff for me that support my work in other ways. Maybe they do it on a different platform or they do that. And I so appreciate all of that. And it's all fucking awesome. If you can't afford to give, if you're supporting on another platform, you're doing it in a different way. All of that's good. And I'm not talking to you. I am talking to the people who consume my content for free that can afford to give $5. Okay? That can afford to give $5 or $10 or $20 or $50 or $100 or whatever you guys want to do. Because the only way that I'm able to keep my work for free to everyone is when it is independently funded by people who can support it. And I have enough people in my community that I know can support it. I know that. And we have to pick up the slack for people who truly can't afford it. So if don't be a Hans, W's to Hans throwing 10 in there, bro, what a fucking king, what a legend. Listen, take Fosnotz, for example. Fosnotz didn't have a job for a while. Fosnotz couldn't support when he didn't have a job. Then Fosnotz got employed again, and that's awesome. And now Fosnotz is supporting people because he can. He's in a position to do so. So it's really important, guys. Listen, I cannot emphasize this enough. Stuff like this does not happen when it is not funded. That is why there's no one else like me doing this, because I'm the only person that was actually able to get a community of people to fund it. And I appreciate you guys, but I want to start a tradition on the channel where like we come onto the stream and people who can throw in $5 if we're doing an educational stream, throw in $5, throw in a channel membership. Like if we get enough of those right at the beginning of the stream, you don't have to hear me complain for the entire rest of the stream. So all it goes. They canceled World War III. Well, here's hoping. Here's hoping. And I don't have anything else to watch. Had to do it. You know, I can't do it. I have to work tonight. I was thinking about covering later. Apparently, the Quartering and Kino Casino have just gone to absolute war with each other. I was watching a video about this earlier. Apparently, the Quartering tried to get Kino Casino's YouTube account banned, and the Kino Casino guys are like really fucking pissed off now. And they did this whole massive stream about it yesterday, and I was like, I want to watch this. Like, I unironically like want to watch this, and I can't watch it on Saturday or Friday because Trendolin's making me watch the fucking whatever podcast. So maybe we'll do it. Maybe I'll just work. We'll have to see. Yo, thank you for the Fascist Fund donation. I appreciate that. All right. All right. All right. We will continue. Can't believe you guys are making me continue to stream. It's fine. It's fine. I'm here for you. I'm here to serve you. All that stuff. Okay. So here are the actual things that Antifa handed out at the No Kings protest. So let's see if we can get into these documents. That is a Prairie Land one. Okay, let me see if I can go to their zine library, because this is actually going to be better for me. Is this just it? Okay. So this is in their zine library on Crime Think's website. And so this is the first thing that they created to hand out. Now, they do have a PDF. You'll see that here. I will put this in the chat so you guys can see what we're reading, and you can download it if you want. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. Here you go. And so what we're going to do, though, is we're going to have the e-reader do it on this website because it's going to be easy. Wait, is this the full thing? Oh, God. Is this the full thing? Yes, this is the full thing. Okay, let's have the e-reader read what this said to us.
Resist IC, abolish ICE. When Donald Trump entered office in 2017, the annual budget for IC was...
Holy shit, bro. Holy shit. Great Otis is like, hold my beer, Fosnotz and Hans and Andre. Great Otis is like, hold my beer, gentlemen, because I'm about to like pull out my giant cock and show it to everyone. Yo, 50 channel memberships. Thank you so much, bro. Massive, massive, massive W's out to you. That's insane. Thank you so much for that gift. Thank you. Congrats to all the people who got channel memberships, not just from Great Otis, but from Hans, from Andre, from Fosnotz, from everyone else who gave channel memberships. Holy shit. That brings us up to 131 channel memberships for the day. That's fucking rad, bro. That's rad. That is awesome. Thank you to all the legends in the chat that made this possible. Okay, I'll keep streaming. Okay, guys. Okay, I'm going to keep streaming. It's fine. See, he just did that. He wants me to do the Kino Casino stream later. He's like, Carlin, you don't really need to do data analysis tonight and work on the No King stuff. No. What you need to do is you need to sit down and watch 7 hours of Kino Casino. Yes, you are the king, old sub. You are still the king. Listen, it's you don't have to be the big dick of the chat every day, old sub. You know what? Sometimes the most powerful people in the room, they just have a presence. They don't need to show off. They don't need to do nothing. You are the legend. You are the legend of old sub. Don't worry about it, bro. There can be many people. Yo! Oh, no! Oh, no! Oh my god. See, all those people who left early, because they were like, Carlin's being such a bitch and she's not going to work for free and she's just going to end the stream. They could have stayed and gotten a free channel membership. Like, holy shit. Holy shit. The fucking legend of old sub Sailor is perpetual. It will never die. Thank you. Yo, what the? Old sub! Come on! Come on! No fucking way! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go! Old sub is like, no, great Otis. No, great Otis. I am the king of the room. I was giving old sub a day off. Did you guys notice that? I was totally giving old sub a day off. I was like, bro, you don't have to always do the heavy lifting. And old sub's like, no. I want to do the heavy lifting. Holy shit, bro. You spoil me. I really appreciate you. Thank you so. Cynthia! What the fuck? How did this go? How the fuck did this go from, bye guys, we only raised 20 memberships, we're done for the day, I'm gonna go take the rest of the day off, and now we've gotten 200 new channel memberships in like the last like 5 minutes? Bro, I can't even. I cannot even. Well, this birthday week is going well. I mean, let's just say this is a preview of the birthday week to come, and it's all I can. Holy shit! Yeah, everyone do purses for Cynthia in the chat. Everyone do purses for Cynthia in the chat. Oh, you did, Boss Nuts! You did! Thank you, bro. You rock. You rock. Yeah, happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. I so appreciate you guys. You guys all spoil me. It is actually very humbling. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right, we're focusing. We're reading Antifa stuff now. Everyone pay attention. No more fooling around.
When Donald Trump entered office in 2017, the annual budget for IC was well under $10 billion. Today, it is nearly 10 times that, making IC the highest funded federal law enforcement agency in U.S. history. Trump has channeled tens of billions of taxpayer dollars to IC in order to carry out ethnic cleansing and as a means to enrich his cronies in the violence industry. But above...
Look at this. This is, again, for people, I know we just had a lot of channel memberships, so people might need a readjust. This is a piece of propaganda that Antifa handed out at the No Kings protest a little over a week ago. It says, Trump has channeled tens of billions of taxpayer dollars to ICE in order to carry out ethnic cleansing as a means to enrich his cronies in the violence industry. The violence industry does, of course, mean capitalism. Nikki in there with a channel membership. W's to Nick. Thank you so much for that, bro. Really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it. So, I mean, that's what they're saying. Antifa is framing this to like normie Democrats and liberals and progressives as Trump is literally ethnically cleansing the population.
But above all, Trump has channeled tens of billions of taxpayer dollars to IC in order to carry out ethnic cleansing and as a means to enrich his cronies in the violence industry. But above all, he has funded IC so much because he needs loyal shock troops to impose autocratic rule. If IC succeeds in deporting the millions of undocumented people in the United States, they will move on to other targets. If they have not done so already, It is only because people are fighting so hard to protect immigrants.
Okay, so you know what this is? Antifa is basically saying, like, you guys know that Holocaust thing? Like, first they came for the communists, and then they came for these people, and then they came for those people, and then they came for the Jews, and then they came for us, and there was no one left to say anything anymore. Like first they came for the communists, and I didn't say anything, and then they came for like X, Y, B, and Z, the gays, and I didn't say anything, and then they came for the Jews, and I didn't say anything, and then they came for me, and there was no one else to speak for me. So basically, what Antifa is doing is saying, oh, the illegals are just the first step, guys. Once Trump uses ICE to kidnap and deport these poor undocumented people, then he's going to use ICE to go after you and put you in the gulag. And by the way, they really do believe this. They really do believe that Trump is going to use ICE, that Trump is going to use DHS to shut down the midterm elections. They're talking about it all over their social media. So,
If they have not done so already, it is only because people are fighting so hard to protect immigrants. This drives home the meaning of solidarity. The best way to protect ourselves.
And in addition, Antifa sees themselves. It's important people understand this. Antifa sees themselves as the only thing standing between the evil Trump administration and their Gestapo and protecting the innocent people who just want to, be productive and just want to live their lives and all that stuff. They see themselves as fighting the noble cause. They see themselves as the hero in the story. Just because we don't perceive them that way does not mean they don't perceive themselves that way. And it's very important, if you want to understand why they're doing what they're doing, it's because they think that they are the noble rebel alliance that is literally holding off the gulags, okay?
This drives home the meaning of solidarity. The best way to protect ourselves tomorrow is to protect each other today. Until January 26, 2026, the Trump administration's position was that ICE had the right to extrajudicially murder anyone they chose. Administration officials spread vile falsehoods about Renee Good and Alex Preddy, even though video footage of their murders was publicly available. This is a regime that kidnaps, murders, and lies as standard policy. But the people of Minnesota refused to back down. By fighting back on a daily basis, they made it impossible for ICE to achieve their goals in the Twin Cities. If not for them, ICE would be repeating the assault on the Twin Cities all around the country. Never forget that it was decentralized, autonomous, grassroots direct action that achieved this victory, not politicians, parties, or petitioning. Any politician, organization, or activist who call for people to restrain themselves in the face of fascism creates the conditions for more kidnapping and murder. Likewise, those who simply want to reform ICE are normalizing a fascist Gestapo. Every agent who joined or remained in ICE under Trump did so with the intention of abducting and terrorizing people. Even if the Trump regime has been temporarily forced to slow down, their goal is full totalitarianism. ICE has only existed for 23 years. There is no reason it should exist at all. Stop the mercenaries wherever they strike. Stand up for each other. Abolish ICE.
All right. So that is the first document that Antifa handed out at the No Kings protest. Let me go see the second one. Which do anarchists want with no, or what do anarchists want with no kings? Okay, that should be the second one. Let's see. So here is another leaflet they handed out. And again, I will put this leaflet in the chat if you want to follow along. The printed text is on the page. And you can download the PDF if you want to see what they actually printed out. Again, for people who are just joining, these are documents that like Crime Think, which is Antifa's publishing arm, makes, and they distribute to all the different Antifa cells, and then they can print them out on their home printers and hand them out at the No Kings protest. Obviously, Antifa does not support progressives, but Antifa utilizes the No Kings protest to try to find more people to recruit and radicalize to the far left. And we are reading the documents that they handed out at this particular protest. Let's dig in and read this one. What do anarchists want with no kings?
What do anarchists want with no kings? We live in a time when billionaires can buy up whole communications platforms and political parties, when heads of state can start wars without concern for public opinion. Many people are rightly questioning the institutions that got us here. Anarchists have always opposed kings and every other kind of tyrant besides. We oppose all forms of hierarchy, every structure that concentrates power in the hands of a few.
Okay, this is really important for people to understand because conservatives have a really hard time wrapping their head around this. When I say Antifa is a highly decentralized, non-hierarchical organization, what I mean is there is no leadership. There is no head of the snake. What you have is thousands of different groups all over the country of people who are loosely organized based on a voluntary association. No, no, no. No, no, no. No, no, no. What you need to do with your now free channel membership that was just gifted to you by someone very generous is to go back and watch the rest of the stream where Antifa is explicitly denouncing liberals and Democrats and progressives over and over and over and over and over again. Don't be a fucking retard. There is no reality in which Antifa are Democrats. Antifa hates no. Oh, I'm very sorry. See, now what we have to do, because you're being fucking retarded, is we actually, you know what? Let's try this, bro. Let's try this. I need you to pay attention to this brief instructional video. Okay, are you watching? Are you paying attention?
You take your top lip and connect it to your bottom lip, you will shut the fuck up. Sometimes shutting the fuck up is the best thing you can do.
Okay, so what we need you to do, bro, is we need you to literally shut the fuck up. Oh, you're still talking. You're still talking. So now, because you have declined our very generous offer to shut the fuck up and listen, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put you in a timeout for 5 minutes. Oh no, still talking. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put you in a timeout for 5 minutes. If you come back from that timeout and you complain in any way, or you whine, or you cry, or you continue to say stupid, retarded shit in my chat, we're gonna deport you from the channel and remove you. Okay, because it's distracting, it's not correct, it just shows you're a low IQ retard. We don't allow that here. If you want to stay and learn, we will teach you. If you don't want to stay and learn, then we will deport you, and that is simply the way it goes. Anyway, we're gonna silence him regardless, Great Otis. But you know what? It sucks when that happens. It sucks when that happens, but I do appreciate it, bro. Anyway, back to this. So when I say Antifa is a non-hierarchical, decentralized organization, what I mean is there is no leadership, there is no head of the snake, there is no one funder that's funding Antifa. That is a conservative bullshit narrative. One of their primary values is an opposition to all hierarchy. They believe that capitalism, private property ownership, creates all hierarchy. Okay. What they believe is that capitalism creates all hierarchy because capitalism balances power, wealth, money, resources in the hands of a few. They're the haves, they're the bourgeois, they're the oppressors. And then you have the have-nots, the proletariats, the non-private property owners. You have people who own houses and land and businesses, and they have all this access to capital. And then you have the workers that are supporting the capitalist structure. That is a hierarchy. Capitalism creates all hierarchy. The goal, all hierarchy creates opposition. This is where the class system comes from, okay? So anarchists, Antifa, are specifically opposed to hierarchy. So when we're talking about something like no kings, it makes sense that that anarchists would be on board with that because a monarchy is one of the most entrenched hierarchies that you could possibly have. So, of course, Antifa is opposed to all kings. Antifa is opposed to all monarchy. Antifa is opposed to all hierarchy and all that stuff. But I want people to go beyond that and to really understand one of the problems that we're dealing with is that none of these people are paid to be an Antifa. This is all a voluntary association. It's a group of people who are getting together. They're talking about what they want to do. They're creating plans. Everyone contributes in their own way. It is a completely voluntary association. They actually have much better teamwork and much better communication than any group I've ever seen on the right. These people have procedures for dealing with conflict. They have procedures for how they operate meetings. They have procedures about how they operate every part of it so that they're working together as part of a collective rather than fighting each other as individuals. Oh, yeah? You did? You did? If you went to the Crime Think website and you understand all of it, then what is the key document that you read on Crime Think's website, and how did you ascertain this this conclusion? I went to that Crime Think site and it was listed on the QR code and is hilarious. That's not how you spell hilarious, by the way. Pie in the sky virtue signaling, but doesn't propose how to fix anything. They actually talk about how they want to fix things all the time. Apparently, you just didn't read anything there. It's a big old circle jerk with these people. Okay, well, what is the name of the document that you read on Crime? What is their primary document that they put on this website that people are supposed to read as a basic starting point? Can you name that document for me? You know everything about Antifa because you went to a website and you didn't like it because you didn't understand what you read. Can you name the name of the primary document that you would have seen on this website had you actually done very basic research on it? Thanks, Hans. I'll check it out. Steven, that's a question directly for you. If you don't answer the question, I'm going to permanently ban you from the channel. What is the name of the main document that you would have absolutely come across had you spent any quality time actually researching what's on Crime Think? What is the name of the document? We're waiting. What is the name of the main document that Antifa tries to distribute on this website that you actually would have come across very easily had you done any research at all? 10 seconds before I decide to permanently ban you from the channel. You will answer. You will either answer, I don't know. You will try to take a guess. I don't think you know the actual answer. I'll tell people the actual answer when we're done, but 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh no, Steven's permanently banned from the channel. Oh no, permanently banned. Hey, Reagan, what do you think the answer is? What do you think the answer is? Let's test it. This is actually a very complex question I just asked. If Reagan knows the answer, I'm actually going to be really impressed at this because this is actually a complex question. What do you think the answer is? Fuck you. She does know the answer. To change everything. That's it right there. That's the fucking Reagan. W's in the chat for Reagan. Reagan knew the answer to the question. I think Reagan might be the only person in the chat who actually knew the answer to that. We should probably read this again. We read this document a long ass time ago, but this is the main document that Antifa pushes that is like their manifesto of the world. Would you guys like to read this document? I know there's a lot of new people on the channel since the last time we read it, which I think is like a couple years ago. One in the chat if you want to read this sometime. Two in the chat if you think that's a dumb idea. Oh yeah, this one's at all the book fair. They actually make nice printed copies of this one too. This isn't just a little paper thing. They actually print nice copies of this one. Star pupil. Yeah, I can't believe Reagan fucking knew that. I actually can believe it, but like it's also, that was an obscure reference, I will be honest. All right. Reagan W. Let's go back to the one we were reading. Okay. Where was I? Oh, I've been trying to say for like 15 minutes. I'm just trying to point out that literally in the second paragraph of this document, if you think I'm blowing smoke that Antifa is non-hierarchical and decentralized, in literally the second paragraph of this document, they say, we oppose all forms of hierarchy, every structure that concentrates power in the hands of the few. They are telling you what their values are. This is not a secret code. This is not something that's to trick the right. They are expressing, Here are our values. We oppose all hierarchy. If they oppose all hierarchy, it is completely nonsensical to believe that there is any Antifa leadership. There is no Antifa leadership. There is no head of the snake. There is no George Soros funding them. They don't even like George Soros. George Soros funds progressives and liberals. It doesn't fund Antifa. Is anarchist a different breed of revolutionary? Kind of, yes. Not all anarchists are Antifa, and not all revolutionary communists are Antifa. Antifa is a very specific kind of niche within far left anarchists. Okay, back to this now. That's enough.
We oppose, anarchists have always opposed kings and every other kind of tyrant besides. We oppose all forms of hierarchy, every structure that concentrates power in the hands of a few. We believe that no one deserves to be able to dominate anyone else, whether by hoarding access to resources or wielding the instruments of state violence. There is no excuse for remaining subservient to those who only seek to enrich themselves at our expense. We want to bring about a situation in which no politician or billionaire could ever be in a position to cut off essential resources to millions with a flick of a pen, in which no army of mass mercenaries could terrorize people. This is a profounder commitment to freedom, equality, and the well-being of the general public than you can find inside the halls of any government. Rather than competing for control or hoarding wealth the way the billionaires do, we want to abolish the mechanisms that impose artificial scarcity. Rather than entrusting our agency to leaders, we want to build our capacity to act collectively, horizontally, and autonomously. All of us should be free to fulfill our potential on our own terms. We aim to create a network of voluntary associations that meet everyone's needs while enabling us to defend each other.
I mean, they're being very clear here, guys. They're being very clear about what they're trying to do. Again, remember, this is a document this is a little flyer that they are handing out to progressives and liberals at the No Kings protest. It's kind of like, here is an introduction to us, and here is an introduction to what we believe. So they are trying, you really have to get the context here. They are trying to go to the No Kings protest to find people who align with them based on these values, to say, here is what we believe. Do you believe this? Let's talk if you think this sounds good. Again, they're not doing this to trick people on the right. This is not some sort of like spy document where they're like, if we release this, conservatives are going to believe that we don't have any hierarchy. It's like, that's not what they're doing. They're going and they're staging an introduction between them and people that they are trying to align with. And what they're saying is, rather than competing for control and hoarding wealth the way billionaires do, so they're taking advantage of the fact that no one likes Elon Musk and Trump, we want to abolish the mechanisms that impose artificial scarcity. By that, they mean capitalism. Rather than entrusting our agencies to leaders because they don't like hierarchy, we want to build our capacity to act collectively, horizontally, decentralized, non-hierarchical, and autonomously, without any forms of hierarchy or anyone imposing on them. All of us should be free to fulfill our potential on our own terms. We aim to create a network of voluntary associations that meet everyone's needs while enabling us to defend each other. This is a voluntary arrangement. There is no leader telling anyone what to do. If people see something that they think needs to be done, they pick it up and they try to do it if they're willing to do it. And if they're not willing to do it, they might say to a friend, they might say, are you willing to do X, Y, B, and Z? And the friend's like, oh yeah, I can totally make that sign. Or, oh yeah, I can totally go get that t-shirt printed. Or I can give you $5 for mutual aid, or like whatever. They're building out a voluntary network of associations in which no one is in charge, and they're all trying to work together as a collective unit. And they're telling their kind of new recruits, they're like, listen, no one has to be involved in this. But here is what we're trying to build. Does everyone understand what I'm saying? 1 in the chat if this makes sense to you, 2 in the chat if you're confused. 1 in the chat if this makes sense, 2 in the chat if you're confused. It's okay to be confused, but please ask a question if you're confused or like express some kind of objection. Okay, solid ones. All right, excellent.
We aim to create a network of voluntary associations that meet everyone's needs while enabling us to defend each other. To be an anarchist means recognizing that our own freedom and well-being are inextricably bound up with the freedom and well-being of others. It means being loyal to what is best in ourselves, becoming more capable of compassion and cooperation and courage. It means developing strategies for combating injustice and sharing those with everyone who needs them. Across 2 centuries, anarchists have resisted every monarchy and persisted through every dictatorship. Now that democracy and capitalism are concluding in a new form of tyranny, a new generation must draw on this legacy of struggle. No kings, no masters.
So again, they're saying it right at the very end. Now that democracy and capitalism are concluding in a new form of tyranny. So what has led us to this point? What has led us to this late stage capitalist world in which they believe that capitalism as a system is going to like implode at any moment, and that will be the spark of the glorious revolution and all that garbage? Democracy is the problem. They're not wrong about that, but that's okay. We'll put that aside. I think that for different reasons. They think that democracy is the problem because they do not believe that what we have in the United States is a real democracy. They believe the only true form of democracy is socialism. So when you see the left talking about democracy, they mean socialism. Steve, please just ask the question. Don't dawdle. Please just ask the question. So they think that democracy and then capitalism, which they define as private property ownership, those are the 2 big problems that they're trying to solve. What would happen if the Marxists had their own planet, not like Earth, like Mars? What would they do if they had an entire planet to try communism? I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I truly don't know how they would handle that situation. What would happen if we rocket shifted all the communists to Mars and just left them there to figure out how communism works on Mars? I personally think that they would all end up starving to death probably within a couple of years because none of them would know how to garden. That would be my bet. My bet is what would actually happen if there's like mass starvation. Like basically think of North Korea. I think that North Korea would happen. That might actually be as close to what would actually happen. North Korea. There you go. Okay, do we have any other? Oh, the other thing I wanted to see is those are the only 2 I think that they handed. Oh, wait, there's more. There's more. There's more. They also handed out this prairie land defense thing. Okay. Let's see. I want this. I don't want the PDF though. No King's Prairie Land. Let's go back. Here it is. Okay. Is that what it was? No, that's not what it was. Oh, this is way too long. We're not reading this now. Okay, so let me just read what this flyer says because I don't have the text here. Let me see. Oh, no. Oh, there's a whole fucking website for this? Of course there's a website for this. Of course there is. Okay, let me just do this. Hang on. Hang on, I have a solution. Here it is. Okay, let me get into my account here. Hang on one sec, guys. I'm just getting into my e-reader account so I can drop this document in here and we can actually read it. Download. All right. So now I've got this this here PDF loaded in my handy dandy reader document. So now we can just have this read it for us instead of me having to read it, which is better for everyone, I promise you. Convert now. In the meantime, guys, we are going to be wrapping up after this. And again, I really do appreciate everyone who donated channel memberships today. 282 channel memberships is fucking awesome. And so I really appreciate it, especially the big guns in the room, like Cynthia, like Old Sub, like Fosnots, like Andre, Hans was in there. There were so many channel memberships donated today. We had a lot of people throwing a lot of memberships out there, and I just really, really do appreciate all of it. Thank you guys for allowing me to spend this extra time with you. Is that all it translated? That's all it translated. Are you shitting me? Are you shitting me? Okay, well, this didn't work. I'm just going to have to read the fucking document, aren't I? Okay, I'm going to have to read the document. I apologize in advance. That's the way it goes. Let me just find it real quick. Okay. It's real short. Everyone will survive. Okay, so here is the third thing they handed out at the No Kings protest. And this is about the Prairie Land case, which again is about the Antifa kids who shot up the ICE facility. It says, fighting Trump means fighting ICE. Support the Prairie Land defendants. On March 13th, a Texas jury found 9 brave anti-ICE protesters guilty of a slew of absurd charges, including material support for terrorist, riot, and conspiracy to use explosives. What crimes did they commit, you ask? They attended a rally and noise demo at the Prairie Land ICE Detention Center in Alvarado, Texas on July 4th of last year. Some people shot off fireworks, like millions of other Americans that day. Someone spray painted a wall. As the rally dispersed, a police officer pulled a gun, aiming at protesters as they left. This is how Antifa is framing this. These peaceful protesters were just setting off fireworks at the ICE facility to celebrate July 4th. And then, out of nowhere, a police officer pulled a gun on them. This is their version of events. We are not saying we agree with this. We are saying that this is what they believe and this is what they are telling to other people. Someone spray painted a wall. As the rally dispersed, a police officer pulled a gun, aiming at protesters as they left. In a common defensive practice, one individual, an ex-Marine, you don't say, fired multiple suppressive rounds at the ground. The action likely saved lives of the other attendees. Police claim that a bullet, likely a ricochet, grazed the soldier of an officer who was fine and released from a nearby hospital within hours. But the Trump administration leapt at this opportunity, weaving an elaborate tale of an imaginary Antifa cell and a calculated ambush. State and federal police arrested 9 people that night and 10 more over the following months. The first federal trial concluded 2 weeks ago, and the misconduct should alarm us all. We saw a Trump-appointed judge dismiss a jury for its vocal support of the First and Second Amendment. We saw multiple state witnesses perjure themselves on the stand. We saw former Attorney General William Barr visit the judge personally 1 week into the trial. We saw the prosecution and the judge collude to deny defendants the right to argue self-defense. We saw a physical altercation break out in the jury deliberation room, raising questions about juror coercion. For showing solidarity with detainees at the ICE facility, these compassionate individuals face decades in prison. For standing up to injustice, these community members' lives have been turned upside down forever. And then they have a QR code to their website, and then they have a QR code to donate. The left are brilliant at myth making. They are myth makers, okay? It doesn't matter what actually happened. What matters is how is the left going to use this? How are they going to twist it? How are they going to myth make out of it? How are they going to create martyrs? And what does that mean for what happens next? All of these things are very predictable. If you just look at what they're publishing, you take the time to read it, they are extremely clear. And so that's why we do this little exercise, guys. That is why we read Antifa propaganda, because this is not theoretical. This is what they believe. This is what they're publishing. This is what they're taking the time to write. This is what they are disseminating to their massive, decentralized, non-hierarchical network of thousands of cells all over the country. This is what is in the propaganda that they're handing out in person at these events. They're not making a meme of this and putting it on Twitter and hoping it goes viral. They are taking the time to make these things into PDFs that can be distributed everywhere, printed off on anyone's printer, and handed out as flyers and leaflets at these events in person. Okay? Yeah, it's gonna get real bad. Yeah, it's gonna get real bad. Yeah, it's gonna get bad pretty much starting May 1st, I think, through the rest of the year. Hey, maybe even starting on Saturday. Maybe even starting on Saturday. Anyway, guys, we're going to wrap up for tonight. I don't know if I kind of want to do that Kino Casino thing. I kind of want to do it. I also kind of want to work for a little bit. So maybe I'll be back to watch the Kino Casino War with the Quartering. Maybe. If we don't do it today, we may do it another night this week, because I actually do want to watch it. I actually do want to watch it. I think it'd be funny as hell. Maybe, okay, let me take a little break. Let me take a break. I do actually want to watch it. Man, fuck, I'm going to have to fucking come back and do it, aren't I? Okay. You guys donated so many channel memberships today. I don't know if this is what Cynthia and Old Sub and Fosnots and Andre had in mind. Reagan's like, Carlin, you can go and watch that Kino Casino bullshit. I'm going to actually be productive. Probably a better call. Probably a better call. But listen, I want to make sure I give people their money's worth. I actually really do want to make sure I give people their money's worth. I'm not sure that watching the Kino Casino go to war with the Quartering is really what you guys are paying for. We already read a bunch of Antifa documents. Let me take a little bit of a break and let me think about it, okay? Let me take a break and let me think about it. You did? You did? This is what you wanted? You wanted Kino Casino? You wanted Kino Casino? Okay, okay. All right, Great Otis! Great Otis! I kept forgetting you! Holy shit! Holy shit! Great Otis! Great Otis, I apologize. You're not one of my regulars. I apologize. Everyone give more credit to Great Otis because I kept leaving him out of the list, sir. So, okay, if Great Otis wants me to watch Kino Casino, okay, now I have to. Now, like, he's owning his choice, okay? He's owning the choice here. Okay. I am now obligated by the rules of the internet. Great Otis gave a nice big donation today, so I'm obligated to do what he wants. It's just the way it goes. All right, guys, I'm going to take a little bit of a break, and I'll be back in a little bit, and we'll watch Kino Casino fight with the Quartering, and it'll be really funny, and it'll be really awesome. And that's it. So I'll see you guys in a little bit.
How are you feeling? How long have you been here?
17.
And what brought you?
That's difficult to answer.
Some idea.
I am not completely like other people.
What do you mean by that?
People dislike me because I am not completely like them. I am trying to do with my life something which few people try to do, and this influences my thinking and consequently my action.
What is it you're trying to do with your life?
Play the piano for people.
I'm not clear. How is it that playing the piano for people has eventually resulted in your being here in the hospital?
That's difficult to answer.